pressure coming from behind, and that is intercepted by the Bears. Nigel Swift with the INT. He is heading down the sideline. One man to beat. Swift heading for the end zone, and he is in for a New York Bears touchdown.
Socrates, he's on the move, and they're going to look for Socrates in the corner. Touchdown!
Back on in, here's Yoxin. Yoxin with the backhand, trying to go to the front, makes the move and shot, and he scores! Rowan heading for the touchpad with the lead, and the Profs will take the men's 400-yard freestyle relay.
Sets one on goal, and he scores! And it is a power play goal!
Back to pass, middle of the field. The catch is made by Britt. She's off to the races at the 40, the 30, the 20, the 10. Britt is in for the score.
Smith delivers. And that's hit back toward the mound. Weiss has it in short. He steps on second, and the ball game is over. Massapequa Coast has won the 2023 New York State Little League Baseball Championship.
Live from Granny Road Park in Medford, New York, PDF Sportsnet welcomes you into coverage of Week 8 of the Elite Football Alliance's 2023 season. Tonight, under the lights and under the cover of rain, we bring you a battle for sole possession of second place in the EFA standings as the New York Legion travel in to take on the Empire State Demon Knights. Hello again, everyone. We are about 5 to 10 minutes away from kickoff here at Granny Road Park. I'm David Pizzuto alongside my broadcast partner, Joe Foreman. And Joe, pretty simple, really, with just a pair of games left on the schedule after tonight. The winner of this game will most likely finish in second place in the standings this year and earn themselves a first-round home playoff game, which will probably be a matchup of these two teams again in a few weeks' time.
Third place on the line, bragging rights on the line, and home field advantage in a potential playoff matchup could be on the line tonight. Heading into this evening's game, there's plenty to play for and plenty for us to be excited about heading into the game tonight. Combine that with the conditions here at Granny Road Park, and absolutely anything can happen. This will be by far the coldest weather we've called a game in this season. The rain is coming down, and these rosters both look a bit different from what we saw early on in the season. It's going to be a good one, and I'm really looking forward to seeing if this matchup delivers on the hype.
Absolutely, Joe. And with that, let's dive into the matchup itself. We'll start with the Demon Knights. We got a chance to see them twice now. An opening week loss to the first-place Bears in a game that was a lot closer than the final score of 33-6 might indicate. And several weeks later, right here at Granny Road, a dominating performance against the Bandits, a 48-0 blowout, which was every bit as one-sided as the score would indicate. They feel they can give the first-place Bears all they can handle, and they should get through the Legion tonight. What makes them think so?
If you want to know why the Demon Knights are confident going into their matchup with the Bears next week, look no further than their performance early in the Week 1 game against New York. They had an early touchdown lead and then had goal to go with a chance to go up 2 possessions. They turned the ball over and everything unraveled from there, but they showed they can both score on the Bears' defense and slow down their prolific offense. That being said, the Demon Knights can't afford to look past a very hungry Legion team that has been waiting for the opportunity to showcase their new look roster on this stage for several weeks. Last time we saw Empire State face the Legion last season, a playoff spot was on the line. In that game, the Demon Knights fell behind by a touchdown early before going on to win in convincing fashion. You know the Legion haven't forgotten about that game and would love to avenge that defeat.
And Joe, speaking of the Legion, they come in at a record of 3-2 as well, but 2 of those wins have come by way of forfeit, and they know that this game is their big litmus test. They've lost twice to the Bears, but they were so much better the second time around 3 weeks ago, and they feel they're an extremely better team that we saw in Week 2 in a blowout loss. How do they grab the attention of the semi-pro world with a huge win here this week against the Demon Knights?
When we saw the Legion in Week 2, not much went right on either side of the ball. Early in that game, the offense struggled to generate positive plays, which kept the defense out on the field for much of the first half. Slowly, the Bears were able to wear them down until everything became easy for the New York offense. If you're the Legion tonight, you have to make sure you give your defense a breather by putting together some sustained offensive possessions. That doesn't mean you need to score a bunch of touchdowns, so that certainly wouldn't hurt. Defensively, you know you have to stop the run to beat the Demon Knights, but you will also have to come away with a big turnover or two at some point in the game to try and jumpstart an offense that has averaged just 4 points per game this season.
Joe, after tonight, 2 more weeks of regular season play left over the course of 3 weeks, then a makeup week, then playoff time. Every EFA team will be there. We know that. We're going to take a look at the standings in just a moment. Take us through what happens from here.
The undefeated Bears, the preseason favorite to win a championship, and the team with a big target on their back come playoff time currently sits comfortably in first place, and with just 2 weeks left in the season, they are there to stay. What that means is that they are headed for a first-round playoff matchup with the New York Bandits in a few weeks. As we've mentioned already, tonight will determine which team ends the week in second place as the Legion and Demon Knights battle for that spot this evening. Looking ahead to next week, Empire State will get one more shot at the Bears here at home in a game that we will have for you here on the PDF Sports Network. That gives us even more to look forward to down the stretch of the regular season. Then, of course, in the playoffs, the EFA will crown a champion. The XEFL will crown a champion as well. Those two league champions will then meet on November 18th. Still a long way to go for these two teams before that matchup, but you know they'd like to put themselves in the best position possible come playoff time. Each side would love to host a first-round home game. A win tonight doesn't guarantee that for either team, but the team that does win this evening certainly gains an advantage towards securing home field in the first round.
Absolutely, Joe. I'm looking forward to those 3 straight weeks of playoffs action, which will be right here on the PDF Sports Network as well. Semifinals and final of the EFA, and then a winner-take-all EFA versus XCFL showdown for regional supremacy. You got a taste of the EFA XCFL partnership last week with our colleague Nick Bavona. What were some of your takeaways from the game that you covered between the Bears and the Cobras?
Early on in that game, I was certain that the Cobras were going to give the Bears all they could handle. A methodical Bears opening drive that took much of the first quarter ended in a turnover on downs, and Cumberland took over with a chance to take the lead. However, the Bears did what they've done all season and created a turnover on defense that led to the game's first score, and from there, they never looked back. Despite the lopsided final score last week, it was great to see the XCFL get a chance to showcase one of their teams here on PDF, and it definitely got me a bit more excited for the crossover championship game that we'll be covering just about 1 month from now. But expanding on that opening drive turnover for the Cobras in that game, it was a very controversial play. I believe Cumberland thought they had a free play on that particular snap. They didn't. They threw a ball up into coverage. They were intercepted. The Bears scored. They went on to win in very convincing fashion. Who knows how that game could have played out differently in terms of the lopsided final score should the Cobras' opening drive had continued. They did not score on offense in that game. It took a pick six to get them on the board late. They ultimately fell to the Bears, but early in that game, they showed a lot of positive signs, and if that's what we can come to expect in the XCFL, we should have a very entertaining championship game in store.
Absolutely. Well, if you've tuned in expecting to see some first quarter action between the Legion and the Demon Knights, just a programming note, we are delayed here at the start. Of course, the inclement weather, both teams arriving to the field a little bit later than usual, of course, given the given the conditions getting here. Of course, that helped us, Joe, a lot because we're braving the conditions as well. As you know, as many of you know about Granny Road Park, we are out in the open here. We have our tent set up, but we are going to have a minimal broadcast today because we simply don't have the space with all of our equipment for things like replay, extensive commercial breaks, things like that. But we will get you every down, and we will have, we will do the best possible job we can with our scoreboard tonight as well. But Joe, you had mentioned at the very top, under the cover of rain here, how is that going to affect conditions for both of these teams that do like to run the ball and play some power football?
Well, I think if you're the Demon Knights, not much changes. Typically, when you have rainfall like this, you expect the team to run the football a bit more often, and I think that plays into the hands of Empire State. We've seen the Legion, when they've tried to run the ball, The running lanes simply haven't been there, whether that's an issue of teams not respecting the passing game or a blocking issue. Tough to tell, having seen this team so many weeks ago back in week 2. But as I mentioned earlier, these two rosters look a bit different from what we saw earlier in the season. And I know the Legion are excited to debut their new look roster here on PDF. They've had a couple of weeks to build some chemistry. They picked up a win over the Bandits, so they have that win under their belt. You mentioned the 2 forfeit victories for them as well, but if you're the Legion tonight, I mentioned it already, you have to create a turnover or 2 to jumpstart your offense, and I think the rain could potentially help them do that. All it takes is one loss of grip on the football, and you have a fumble and a turnover that could put you in good starting field position for a given drive. If you're Empire State, just do what you've done well, what you did well against the Bandits the last time we saw them, and they should be able to come away with the win tonight. However, I think with the rain, Empire State having that solid running game, it certainly plays into their advantage, especially playing on their home turf as well.
All right, well, no matter what, win or lose for either of these teams, the EFA season is heading down the home stretch, and we will be with you here on PDF Sportsnet every step of the way, and a major step tonight between two long-standing rivals in a battle for playoff positioning. It's the New York Legion against the Empire State Demon Knights. It's coming up next after the break. We'll have kickoff and more for you right here live from Granny Road. Stay with us. When only the most trusted law services are needed, then you need Justin Feinman, Esquire, now a proud sponsor of the EFA. Specializing in family, matrimonial, and criminal law, Justin Feinman has been meeting the needs of clients and families for years, and with results that matter. Operating out of Garden City, contact attorney Justin Feinman at justin@jfnylaw.com or call 516-429-9500. East Coast Trophies and Awards has been serving your awards needs since 1986 and is now a proud sponsor of the PDF Sports Network. From sports-specific trophies and plaques to corporate and business promotions and gifts, East Coast Trophies and Awards is your one-stop shop for all of your crowning achievements, and they always meet the right price. Contact Chris today at 848-223-7071 or visit them at www.eastcoastawards.com.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
The EFA is proud to be sponsored by KD's Black Magic Seal Coating. At KD's, we specialize in residential and commercial seal coating, crack filling, pothole repair, parking lot striping, and much more. Our licensed and insured team treats your project with great care and free estimates always. Contact Corey today at 631-562-8865 or email mrkd8985@gmail.com. Attention local businesses and professionals. Isn't it time to elevate your game? Now you can advertise your business or product on PDF Sports Network. Your ad will appear on all of our broadcasts, including this one. Don't have a commercial? We'll make one for you, absolutely free. What better way to showcase your product and brand while supporting the best local sports, teams, and leagues? Call now at 732-723-8189 or visit us at pdfsportsnet.com. Welcome back here to Granny Road Park, Medford, New York. We are getting set for the Legion and the Empire State Demon Knights. The officials have officially taken the field, and we would assume, Joe, that we're just moments away. Now, of course, we've been mentioning it before, but tonight's game was supposed to start at 7 p.m. Joe, we arrived here about 5:30, and we were pretty much the only ones here at that point. It was not a bad thing. Not a bad thing, but we're certainly getting ready for a good one here. All right. Christian Ramsey just checking in and saying hello to us here on the headset, and hello to the Three Bleezies as well. We love watching you guys during the week and getting a lot of information on Semi-Pro through the Three Bleezies Facebook and Instagram pages. So by all means, check them out as well.
Mundo. Yeah, Dave.
All right, Joe.
First time ever.
We got you mundoing people now. Very nice.
I'm in a good mood tonight. The weather tried to spoil it, but not today. Right. I wasn't having it.
Yeah, and speaking of the weather now, it's not really coming down hard, Joe, but it is coming down steady. And it's interesting because while we were setting up and getting ready for the broadcast, we actually made a couple of trips back and forth to the parking lot, and I almost slipped on the sidewalk, Joe, just trying to take some of our equipment back so they could stay dry in the car. So you know that these guys on the field are going to be slipping and sliding a little bit. It's that slick, annoying, cold rain.
I think they can deal with slipping and sliding on the turf as long as the football doesn't slip and slide out of their grasp. I think they'll settle for that. If they have to lose their footing once or twice tonight, I think that's a given when you have conditions like this. And you said it, Dave. It is not raining very hard, but it has been steady.
Right.
And at times it has picked up a bit, but the rain has been consistent since we arrived. There was a 2 or 3 minute window where it looked like the rain had stopped. You engaged the commentator's jinx, even though you didn't have a headset on. The rain immediately resumed, heavier than it was at any point throughout the evening. But as I mentioned, the Legion, if they're going to get their offense going in any way, they're probably going to have to force a turnover or two in this game. Ball security going to be paramount for the Demon Knights tonight. And navigating these conditions while protecting the football is going to be a challenge for both teams. Very important on the Empire State side, given how often they run the ball. I'm curious to see how the Legion look to run the ball tonight, as they really weren't able to get their running game going in the game that we covered earlier this year. However, against Empire State last season in that win-or-go-home game during the final week of the regular season, the Legion managed to run the ball straight down the field and generate a touchdown. Most of those carries came from the quarterback position, but nonetheless, they found a way. They'll have to find a way tonight.
Yeah, they certainly will, and they have the solace of knowing that they played well against the Bears last time. Now that they were shut out, they lost for the second time in a row against them, but it was pretty much night and day, Joe, because the Bears are the only team that the Legion have faced twice that they can kind of compare themselves to. And when they played in that game that we covered at PDF, they had a decent first drive. Defensively, they gave up a fourth down. That was tough. But after that, the wheels kind of fell off, and the Legion were out of that game within the first quarter and a half. Second time around, they played much better, especially defensively. Again, weren't able to put the points up on the board, but they were able to get their defense going against a very good Bears team. They're hoping that transfers here against this Demon Knights team. Now, Joe, just optically, they're not traveling with a lot of players tonight, and you kind of assume that being the long trip here to Granny Road, of course, the conditions being what they are. But if they're going to pull off an upset here tonight, they're probably going to have to do it shorthanded.
I don't think there's any question about that, Dave. Taking a look over toward the Legion sideline, you can see there are certainly fewer players over on that far sideline than there are on the near sideline in white. But you said it. They performed much better against the Bears in the second meeting than they did in the first meeting. And any success you have against the Bears team that is undefeated this season is something you can certainly take pride in. Obviously, it comes down to wins and losses. But ultimately, for all of these teams in the EFA, they hope to get another shot at the Bears in the playoffs, opening round, or eventually in an EFA championship game. And with the Bears having locked up the number 1 seed in the EFA, they will likely draw the New York Bandits in the first round. In fact, I think that might be mathematically determined already, though. It comes down to the head-to-head between Empire State and New York, whether or not it would be a possibility for the Bandits to pass the Demon Knights. I don't believe they meet again, if I'm not mistaken.
Not the
Bandits,
Bandits,
do not.
yeah.
Okay,
right.
So Empire State has won that season series, which means they cannot fall down to 4 with only 2 games remaining.
Correct. The lowest they can go is the 3. And the lowest the Legion can go is still the 4, Joe, because now if the Legion lose the rest of their games and the Bandits win their final 2 games, that season series would also be tied at 1-1 because the Bandits and Legion still have 1 game against one another. And just like you said in the opening, Joe, not mathematically, but you'd like to think that the winner of this game is going to lock up the number 2 seed. Now, whoever loses this game, if they win their final 2, and whoever wins this game, if they lose their final 2, that would somersault the other over in the standings. But it's going to be a tall order. You know, the Legion do have a game against the Philly Venom as well as the Bandits. And, of course, the Demon Knights have 2 games against the Cobras and Bears. So not impossible, certainly, but mathematically everything is still in play with the exception of the Demon Knights being able to fall to 4.
Well, looking at the Demon Knights' schedule from throughout the season, they have 2 teams left on their schedule that have beaten them this year.
Exactly.
So it's important for them to win this game and one more if they'd like to play an opening round playoff game here at Granny Road Park. As for the Legion, they have a Bandits team on their schedule that they have already beaten, as well as the Philly Venom. So if you're the Legion, you have to feel good about your chances to get 1 win. And if you win tonight, that's enough to lock up the 2 seed and home field in an opening round game against Empire State. So the Legion, regardless of who they're playing in their last 2 games, want to win tonight. The same goes for the Demon Knights. A lot of bragging rights in this EFA versus EFA matchup. That's not something we've said in the past, but this season, of course, with the crossover games against the XEFL, not every game features 2 EFA organizations. Now, I'm taking a look over toward the Empire State sideline right now, and we've done this just about every week. We've gotten at least 1 team going through the lineup line procedures, name and number recited on camera. The Legion captains are waiting for the Demon Knight captains at midfield. They are about to meet for the opening coin toss.
Yep, and that is a rule in the EFA that you must be in attendance and play, or at least just be in attendance for 4 of your team's 8 regular season games in order to be eligible for the playoffs. And that's the reason for the lineup line and, of course, making sure that the bodies are present and available for the team should they need them. And the captains, of course, getting together here at midfield to determine who is going to receive our ball first. And looks like we'll probably get underway 20 to 25 minutes later than anticipated. Again, anticipated kickoff 7 p.m. and looks like we'll get this one started about 7:25 under the cover of rain probably throughout the evening. You might see it on your screen, but it is pretty misty but steady, as Joe mentioned before, and will play a factor in this game. Now, it's not windy, which is really important, not just for us here on PDF, but for the passing games in games like this. And as the season goes along, it does get colder here. We start this season in the heat of summer and ended in pretty cold weather. You know, last year we had a really good day for the championship, Joe, but it got very, very cold very quickly in that game once dusk came over that game against the that took place between the Pharaohs and Gators. And we'll be in mid and late November by the time the EFA season comes to a halt.
Well, weather-wise, Dave, I don't think we could have done much better last season. Right. I'm not sure we called a single game in poor weather last year. I don't recall any rain. I don't recall any unbearable cold until night dawned over the EFA championship. Yeah. When the sun set at Facina Field, it got very cold very quickly, and I felt bad for our camera operator outside at that game. It was freezing when that game ended. I think you could see it in our video of the postgame. You went down to field level for some postgame conversations. You could see the breath of the players down there in the midst of that celebration, but it looks like we're just moments away from kickoff here at Granny Road Park, which means that we're getting started about 20 to 25 minutes following our scheduled kickoff time of 7 p.m. But in just a few moments, this Week 9 matchup between the Demon Knights and the Legion gets underway. Yeah,
and it looks like it'll be the Legion who receive the ball first, and the Empire State Demon Knights getting set to kick off. And, of course, we mentioned the conditions quite a few times, but for us that means that we are going with a rather minimalist broadcast. We will not have instant replay tonight. We will not have down and distance on your screen, so Joe and I will do our very best to update that after each play for you verbally. We have our scoreboard up, and we'll be updating that as the score changes, but otherwise our equipment is all under cover of our tenting and of our towels and other apparatus that we're using to keep everything as dry as possible. This is the first time in PDF Sportsnet history that we are out doing a game in elements like this. However slight the rain is, it is a disaster for equipment like ours.
And Dave, we're the only of 2 groups of spectators in the stands.
Right.
I was looking to see if there are any other groups positioned anywhere else. Maybe you could make the case for 3. But any weather, anywhere, anytime, within the 3-hour radius of our hub. I don't know if we'd consider that Staten Island or we'd consider that New Jersey, but nonetheless, we made the trip about 2 hours from the College of Staten Island, where I departed from anyway, a bit longer for you from New Jersey. But we're here, and we will be with you through all 4 quarters tonight as Empire State gets set to kick it away and get us started.
And we want to thank all of our friends at the Elite Football Alliance and, of course, at the XEFL for being so cooperative with us and making it a special season. All the way through, we will have a game from here on out in the EFA XEFL partnership. And very familiar face, Ricardo Caballero, will get us set up as he will place the ball on the tee and get us underway momentarily. A couple of players back deep for the Legion. Try to pick up some numbers as jerseys are getting tucked, of course, inside of jerseys. But one of the 2 deep men is Marcellus Smallwood back deep for the Legion. Both teams 3-2 this season. The Legion with 2 of those wins coming by way of forfeit. Demon Knights, 1 of their wins coming by way of forfeit. Caballero will have it held for him. Actually, now he requests a tee, and he will place it up on the tee to get us started.
And you can see, Dave, look at that down marker. Rain-soaked.
Right. We expect that just about the entire evening, as that one is squibbed at about the 40-yard line and downed at the 42. A nice job by Kerzavis Bing to see it through to the ground and just get on top of it.
Well, Dave, that ball took a bit of a funky hop, and in these conditions, it's not easy to field a ball that is kicked off that way, and you have to wonder if that potentially played into that decision by Empire State to try and put a little bit on that short kick and force one of the Legion special teamers to make a play.
Yep, and the Legion got in trouble on special teams in their game against the Bears, something that Coach George and his team want to clean up in this game, and they got tested right there, right out of the gate. Ball officially spotted at the 43-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Legion. And they will try to get in and out of the huddle here as they pour some players in.
They might have been too short, Dave.
Say it again?
They might have been 2 players short.
Right, coming out of the kickoff. And Joe, in the game that you covered with Nick Bavona against the Bears, that Legion Bears game, of course, their starting quarterback, David DeSalvatore, getting injured in that game, lost for the season. So the Legion, of course, with their second signal caller behind center. Man in motion coming in on the near side is Villanueva. Michael Paradise, I believe, is the quarterback under center, although his jersey is tucked deep. That one is thrown up and intercepted on the first play of the game. And going back the other way is Calhoun, and he is muscled close to out of bounds at the 30-yard line. But that one just hung up there, and it was anybody's ball, and Calhoun was the first one there.
Well, pressure burst pipes, Dave, and the pressure on the quarterback forced that interception, and you saw it. As the pressure came from behind, there was contact. That ball was released, and it was then intercepted. Huge play by the Demon Knights defense to get things started tonight. They are out on the field 1 play, and they have already forced the game's first turnover.
And, Joe, I could be wrong, but the quarterback's number is so obscured by us. I believe that was Tremel Williams who was taking the snap, number 5 rather than number 4, Michael Paradise, who is the team's starting quarterback now. And he's 0 for 1 with an interception. And how about this for a start for the Demon Knights? Short field on their first possession of the game. The ball spotted just inside the 30-yard line. Caballero will work under center for their first offensive play. And that ball is on the ground. The exchange was bobbled. I don't even think it got to Caballero under center, and it's going to be Legion football.
Well, they certainly had it, Dave. We had a great look at it, zoomed in at the bottom of that pile, trying to get a look at who it was on the recovery. Unfortunately, it's hard to man a camera while at the same time looking at a roster, but while we have a break in the action, I think that might have been number 3, Marcus McCray-Adams. Really tough to tell, but I was trying to follow the player who recovered that football off of the field. Now,
well, Joe, how about this? 2 offensive plays, 2 turnovers in this game. And the Legion will get the ball back right at their own 30-yard line, so they lose about 15 yards of real estate back from when they first got the ball, but essentially wipe the slate clean. Both teams with a turnover here in the first quarter. And that is Tremel Williams, who will operate out of the shotgun.
Well, Dave, I'll tell you, we're going to have to move up a row with the camera. The Demon Knights sideline, all on their feet, obstructing much of the actions. The ball's loose again.
And that ball is loose. Now, I don't know if that came out of the hands of Tremel Williams on the snap or if he just fumbled it as he was trying to relay it into his passing hand. But how about that? 3 plays, 3 turnovers to start this game between the Legion and the Demon Knights.
Well, Dave, I've watched a lot of football in my lifetime. There are some things that I've never seen, and if I'm not mistaken, 3 turnovers on consecutive plays, one of those things.
And we don't have the option of instant replay tonight for us, but you certainly at home can rewind a few seconds and see what exactly happened there. It looked like on the shotgun snap, Williams just couldn't corral it. And the Demon Knights, as they hope to do all game, were on top of Williams immediately and were able to cover up. So now the Demon Knights take over for the second time on offense, this time from the Legion 25.
Well, Dave, this is shaping up to be a special kind of game, perhaps not in the way these teams intended.
Well, you said it, slipping and sliding, but you hoped that wasn't going to be the case with the football. Caballero under center. He will give up the middle to Lopez. Lopez dives forward for a gain of about 2 or 3 on the play. And we'll have a 2nd down and 7 coming up.
Well, you know the Demon Knights would love to get that running game going, but I said it during the pregame, ball security going to be paramount for them. They have to protect the football, and we've seen how much of a factor these conditions are going to be very early. I'm not sure they could have played a bigger role in the first 3 plays, 3 snaps, 3 turnovers.
And they go with the short play on first down, just run it up a gap. Got the 3 yards they needed. Caballero will continue to work under center. He turns around this time left side, but the play whistled dead. And it'll be a false start against the Demon Knights.
Well, yards certainly won't be easy to come by in big chunks today unless they come on the ground. It's not going to be easy to air the ball out down the field. And if you're the Demon Knights, a team that already likes to run the football, you don't want to put yourselves in a position where penalties move you in the wrong direction.
So, wrong direction indeed. It's now 2nd down and 12 following the 5-yard penalty. The first penalty of the game for either team. The give is this time left side and pinballing off of a few defenders and getting to about the 25-yard line once again. Just short of it was Lopez. So gets about that yardage back. It'll be a 3rd and about 8 on the play.
3rd and long puts you in a tough spot. If you're Empire State, you know it's 4-down territory. We're not going to see any field goals tonight unless something's changed from early in the season. So if you're the Demon Knights here, you could look to run the ball in this spot, try and get some of those yards back on 3rd down, or you could go through the air and try and pick it all up in one shot. As I mentioned, they likely have 2 plays to get it.
So here we go, 3rd down and 8. As Joe mentioned, 4-down territory for sure here for the Demon Knights. Caballero continuing to work under center. The give is to Ramsey up the middle, and he's going to be met immediately by 3 or 4 black jerseys. Not much on the play at all, perhaps a gain of a yard, but it's going to be 4th and long.
From 3rd and long to 4th and long. Certainly not what the Demon Knights were looking for in that spot. And you have to think that they'd likely throw the football here. Now, I don't want to engage the commentator's jinx again, Dave, but the rain right now is probably as light as it's been since the game has started.
And I said it was Ramsey on the carry. That's L.A. Richards on the carry. I'm not sure what number Christian Ramsey is wearing for the Knights, as he's a new addition to the team here. He is not listed on our roster that we printed out this morning. But it's going to be a 4th and about 8 from the same line of scrimmage as 3rd down. And for the first time, Caballero will work out of the shotgun. He'll take a 3 or 4 step drop, and he is looking corner of the end zone near the pylon, but that is out of play as Caballero was taken down on the play as well. And the Demon Knights have officially turned the ball over on downs, and the Legion will get the ball back for the 3rd time here in this first quarter.
Well, Dave, ball security is not only going to be extremely important tonight, points are going to be at a premium. The first team that makes a mistake defensively and allows that big play could be the team that ultimately loses this game, because it is not going to be easy to string together positive plays, to put together sustained drives, to pick up first downs, and of course, to score points. Whatever team strikes first puts themselves in a great position to potentially win this game.
Absolutely. So the Legion, 2 drives. If you'll call them drives, Joe. 2 turnovers on 2 plays.
2 turnovers.
Yeah. So being very kind when I say drives, but nevertheless, they've turned the ball over twice here in this first quarter. Tramel Williams calling the shots here out of the shotgun. Williams with the gloved hands takes that one, immediately wants to run with it, but he is going to be met in the backfield by a pair of Demon Knights. And trying to pick up a number on our, it was number 37 cleaning things up for the Demon Knights. Unfortunately, not on our roster.
Not a good start. I had the hero cam on him too, Dave.
Love to say his name, but unfortunately we'll have to get that one for you later on during the broadcast. A loss of officially 2 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 12 for the Legion, who've run 3 plays, have had 2 turnovers and negative yardage. But Tramel Williams that time was going to run the entire time. And remember the last time we saw the Legion last year, they did a lot of running with the quarterback. A game in which they were also shorthanded at that position. Williams wants to throw off to the side, and I believe that was caught, Joe, in the flat underneath. Minimal yardage that time by Villanueva. If that was completed, Joe, and I'm not sure if it was, that's a pretty good look by Tramel Williams to Villanueva.
Well, Dave, I'd love to help you, but from my perspective, can't see anything through the bench.
Yeah,
so anything on the near side, you can't see it. And to get a good look at the offensive huddle, really not going to happen from this perspective. As soon as we have a stoppage in the action, we'll try and move the camera up another row and see if we can get a better vantage point.
Yeah.
I can't see over there. And you're right, Dave. If we do move up, we might be contending with our coverage.
Correct. We are.
So we might be out of luck.
Yes. That was a gain of 3 on the play, and it sets up a 3rd down and 9. A lot of shuffling here at the line of scrimmage. Gooding moving from left to right. He's now operating out of the slot for this offense on the near side. Demon Knights showing pressure, and they bring a lot of bodies, but everybody was ready except for the center on that play, and the Legion will have to back up 5 yards.
So is that one of those officiating calls where you say false start, everyone. Except the center?
Probably. Take your pick. But the entire line started, the offensive line and the defensive line, with the exception of the center. Snap came 2 or 3 seconds tardy. It'll be 3rd down and 14.
Looking ahead, should the Legion have to punt, we've seen special teams plays also turn into dynamic scores for
Right.
teams, as we've covered the EFA the last 2 seasons. And I'm not sure I'd want to be punting in these conditions.
Yeah, and I believe the Legion gave up a punt for a touchdown in their last outing. Eric Golden, the usual punter on this team. 3rd down and long, and given the pressure that Williams has been under, this is a tall order here for the Legion. He operates out of the shotgun, does see it through, looking to his left side, puts one up, and that's over the outstretched arms of number 15, Marcellus Smallwood. A couple of Demon Knights in the area as well, but Smallwood had a window.
Well, Smallwood is patting on his chest following that throw, perhaps to say, my bad. There may have been a miscommunication there between quarterback and receiver. He's discussing it with his quarterback, Williams, right now. The question is, are the Legion going to look to punt here, or would they try and go for it deep in their own territory, given the conditions and how tough it's going to be to move the football?
Now it's 3rd down and 14 from the 17-yard line. So that's what we're dealing with in terms of real estate. It does look as if the Legion might be actually, they have the 2 gunners, so this looks like it will be a punt. But once again, it's Tremel Williams counting his offense, and we are going to have a timeout called by the Demon Knights.
Sean Spencer called timeout from right in front of us. He's about to have a word with his special teams unit as New York gets set to punt it away.
Yeah, and you wonder if you're guarding against a would-be fake if possible, or the coverage, or how you decide to attack the punter in this situation. Either way, the Demon Knights primed to get the ball back in good field position. Even if this is a good punt, they should be starting inside of Legion territory. And, of course, if they can get a block, or if the Legion go for it and are unsuccessful, they'd be starting their 3rd drive of the quarter at the 30-yard line in.
Well, personally, if I'm making the decision, I think the right call is to punt, and it looks like that's what the Legion are going to do. So I personally agree with that decision. I think with how points are going to be so hard to come by tonight, to give the ball back to Empire State, just a few yards from the end zone would be a big mistake.
And it looks like it will be Williams to punt it. 2 back deep for the Demon Knights. Fielded well and punted well as that goes over the head, but caught up to at the 47-yard line. Demon Knights will take it there. Some open running room, middle of the field, turning towards the sideline, and finally wrestled down was Tavion Johnson inside the 20-yard line. What a return.
Great return by Johnson. And Dave, I'm not sure if it was apparent to you watching that in live action, but watching it through our monitor alongside our camera, it looked like Johnson was about half a foot taller than a lot of the Legion players who were chasing after him. For a man that big, he moves incredibly well. Great return by him. And he sets the Demon Knights up in great field position once again. And I'm not sure how many yards that punt netted the Legion. It wasn't many.
Well, no, not at all. In fact, it was only a 5-yard net punt because they punted from the 17. The ball's at the 22. And a great job by Johnson to backpedal about 8 or 9 yards to catch up to that. Not only make the catch on the fly, but then reverse field, head towards a touchdown. And I thought he was going to take it to the house for a moment. Good job on the tackle by the Legion to prevent the touchdown. But for the 3rd time in this quarter, the Demon Knights have the ball inside of the Legion's 30-yard line to start a possession. Caballero under center, gives straight ahead to Lopez. He grinds for about 5 yards. And it'll be 2nd down and 5, but simple A-gap rushes, Joe. They are looking to pound it right into the teeth of the Legion defense.
And if you're the Demon Knights, you'll take a 5-yard run on 1st down all night long. If you can get that on at least half of your 1st downs, that puts you in a great position to keep drives alive and to keep the ball moving. I think the question becomes how long until we see Empire State try and utilize play action to get this Legion defense off balance, going after the running back in the backfield. Perhaps that opens up a pass on the goal line.
Hear so many coaches say it on so many different levels of football, just staying on schedule and keeping the chains moving and the down markers moving forward rather than backward. Such a big difference as Caballero now is going to be bottled up and sacked. Now, did he get rid of that football? That will be the question here. Great job by Perot, John Charles, to take down Caballero. Now, will they say he got rid of the football, or was he in the grasp? If he was in the grasp, Joe, that's a big-time loss for the Demon Knights.
Well, Dave, they tried the play action, and that will draw a flag for intentional grounding. You get a look right there at the call by the official. Yep. I think that's certainly the right call, Dave. I thought they might rule that a fumble as well. I wasn't sure if he got his arm moving forward.
Again,
at that point, it's worth the shot to try and throw it away. He was in an impossible position. The Legion did not bite on the play action, and that's a great job by the New York defense to stay home.
Tremendous job by them, and really it's the same result, whether this was a sack. In fact, the penalty actually benefits the Demon Knights here, because that would have been a loss of maybe 2 or 3 more yards if they called them in the grasp. Instead, it was a loss of just 10 on the play, but the loss of down as well. So it's going to be third and about 16-17 here. Actually, a little less. Looks like 3rd and 16. Important part of that penalty, of course, is the loss of down. The give is up the middle. Lopez is going to be wrestled down by a pair of Legion players led by Villanueva, joined alongside Timothy Mazzaros. It'll be 4th down again, and another big play here for the Demon Knights early in the game.
A good hard run there by Lopez, who lost the helmet. He gave it all he had for as many yards as possible on that 3rd down to try and set up a more manageable 4th down play. And the Demon Knights will likely have to throw it again. And we saw during warm-ups how difficult it was to throw the ball down the field in these conditions. And this looks like a 4th down and about 13 or maybe a bit less, as you said, Dave. So we'll see if Empire State tries to throw for the sticks or perhaps set up something short of the down marker and pick up the rest after the catch.
So in that neighborhood, 4th and 12, 4th and 13, here they go. They're going to run the end around, but this play is going to be whistled dead, as the run was going to go to Ramsey, but we have a false start and another penalty on the Demon Knights, which will set them back again.
Well, Dave, it's clear both of these teams early in this game are having a tough time keeping the offenses on schedule, as you mentioned, and moving forward consistently, stringing together consecutive positive plays. If you're the Demon Knights, is there any way in this spot you consider trying to punt and pinning the Legion inside the 10-yard line?
I would not, Joe. I would go for this simply because the Legion right now haven't really proven that they can move the ball on you to this point. You've held them to 2 turnovers and a 3-and-out, essentially. And we know that the Demon Knights can make the big play. They have that potential. The question is, do the conditions make it so? And that time it looked like Ramsey was going to have some room on that left side. Now he comes out wide left, or on the near side of your screen. Motions in just a bit. Lopez is to the left of Caballero, who will operate out of the shotgun. Rush comes in. They're looking middle of the field and elevating and making the catch. It is complete indeed. It'll be 1st down and goal. Tremendous catch by A.J. Ray, who got up and got it.
A.J. Ray making plays once again for this Empire State offense. We saw that several times during Week 1 against the Bears, as there is a flag down in the offensive backfield.
Looks like it was a late hit on the quarterback, Joe, I believe, as they are going to set up inside the 10. This will be a 1st and goal for the Demon Knights, and our first 3rd or 4th down conversion of the evening.
And you get the sense it's going to take a few more where that came from for both of these offenses to generate some points in this game. And this sets up Empire State in prime scoring position now. What do you think the chances are we see that reverse back from the play sheet once again and run down here on the goal line?
Wouldn't be too shocked here. The ball is spotted just inside the 5, it looks like, closer to the 3, so about the 4-yard line. But yeah, it can be crowded quarters back there, and the Legion have shown that they can get into the backfield.
Should have said end around.
Right. In motion is Ramsey. The give is up the middle to Lopez, who spins off one defender and gets closer. No official call, and it'll be 2nd down and goal.
Good job by Lopez to break the first tackle attempt because that play was ticketed for a loss in the offensive backfield. Not a big loss, but a loss nonetheless. Instead, Lopez turns it into a short gain, but short gains are all the Demon Knights need right now as they're on the doorstep looking for the game's first score.
This looks like just outside the goal line. Call it the 1 officially. That's where the down marker is as well. It'll be second down and goal. And if you're the Demon Knights, that could be the play call here. Just run it up the middle 3 more times as they've had success. Once again under center, Caballero. Legion crowd the box. They want movement on
They got it.
the Empire State Demon Knights, and they got it. Another penalty here for Empire State will move the ball back to the 6-yard line.
Well, I'll tell you, Dave, when you're watching the action through a screen with the enhanced zoom, there are a lot of things you see that you don't necessarily get to see when you're calling the action without the assistance of video equipment. You could see very clearly on that tight camera shot the movement at right guard. It was abundantly clear. And the Legion defenders immediately caught it. They were all over it. And that may have helped draw the flag, which came in and backs up the Demon Knights 5 yards.
So with the ball at the 6 now, perhaps the chance for a little bit more creativity here from the Demon Knights as opposed to the 1. But second down now as they'll get 3 attempts to punch it in. Caballero with the long count, the fake pitch. The give is the other way to Ray, and Ray has all the field he needs to trot in. He's pushed a little bit late. There'll be a flag added on top of it, but A.J. Ray takes it in for 6.
Well, those flags came in very quickly, 3 of them landing right at the feet of the defender. Now, we saw a very similar play like that last night in the Stanford-Colorado game where an offensive player was making his way to the end zone, and he was able to leisurely jog across the goal line and score. That's how well executed that play was, and I speculated before about whether or not we would see that end around again on the goal line, and sure enough, following a penalty, the Demon Knights called that play, and the officials right now are still conversing regarding what transpired at the end of that play.
Well, I don't know if A.J. Ray would say he took a heavy shot, but it was a shot nonetheless, and it was late, well after he scored. Now, he kind of trotted in there, but maybe showing up, but that's a good play by A.J. Ray. He's a lot to celebrate as he goes in.
But he certainly trotted. It wasn't a kind of trot. He very much trotted.
So 6-0 is our score. 2-point conversion upcoming here. And the Empire State Demon Knights, who have had possession inside the 33 times in this first quarter, get to punch one in. This will be a throw by Lopez to Thedgill for the 2-point conversion. Joe, we've seen that before.
We certainly have. They tried it multiple times in week 1, could not connect. 1 for 1 today on the throw by Lopez, and the catch by Thedgill makes it an 8-0 game. But if you're the Demon Knights, you like to see that play executed. They'd run it several times against the Bears. Just couldn't get the timing down, couldn't get the protection for the back to throw the football right there. It is executed perfectly, and the Demon Knights strike first.
Yeah, they ran that 2 or 3 times in that game against the Bandits, and each time they failed on it, and there was a long conversation between Lopez and Thedgill after the plays. Not that time, though, all smiles as the Demon Knights take an 8-0 lead in a game in which the Legion have turned the ball over twice in the first quarter. They have gone 3 and out as well, and they need to show that they can move the football here against this Demon Knights defense. And they'll have to do it falling behind here.
Well, I said it before, Dave. If you're either of these teams, you did not want to be the team to fall behind early. That forces you to push a little bit more offensively, to perhaps try some things that aren't necessarily efficient in this kind of weather. And now for the Legion, who have completed just 1 short pass, turned the ball over a couple of times, and trailed by 8 points, they have some work to do. Fortunately for Empire State, they kicked off to start the game, so they now have the advantage of an 8-point lead, plus they received the second half kickoff. That really changes things from the perspective of both teams, but makes it much easier for Empire State and much tougher on the Legion.
Caballero gets into this one, and he will send it down the field. It pops up and lands at about the 5-yard line, and Tremel Williams looking sideline and does gain the edge before getting knocked out of bounds, shy of the 25-yard line, it seems, or right at that stripe, and that is where the Legion will take over.
Well, it's not easy for someone who was just the kick returner to then come in and play quarterback, and that's about to happen as Williams makes his way back onto the field, but not an easy thing to do. Kick returns take a lot out of you, especially one that sees you chase that ball back toward the goal line and then have to avoid several tackles before finally being pushed out.
The Legion haven't been able to really move the ball well. They had one completed pass for about 3 yards, but their running game has not generated anything yet, and it's been Tremel Williams on the keepers that have been the attempts to start here. But they have not been able to keep the Demon Knights off balance at all, and the rush has been hot and heavy on just about every play when Williams has gone back to pass. Press coverage now being employed by the Demon Knights. Now Calhoun backs off a bit. In motion is Gooding. The give is underneath and bouncing off of his own man before being spilled down. Gain of about 2 on the play by Larry McLaughlin, number 21.
That hole was there initially, but it was shut down quickly with a very big hit on the play. That was Marcellus Smallwood.
Was it
took
Smallwood?
down the ball carrier. It was 15. Now, the roster I have to my right does say New York Bandits on the top. That is the Legion roster.
Yep.
I recognize the rest of the names. Had to do a double take and make sure.
All right, so it was Smallwood on the carry.
On the hit. On the hit.
No, it was.
Oh.
Yeah, wrong.
It was 15 of the Demon Knights. Wrong
right.
15. I saw 2 15s.
That would be David Miranda making the tackle. No problem there. 2nd down and 9 officially, so a gain of 1 on the play. Williams will work out of the shotgun. Demon Knights show blitz. They do come in. The coverage is there at first, and that one in and out of the hands, bobbled by Daewon Kind, who could not come down with it. That had the potential for a big play. Nice pass by Williams.
Certainly a good pass. Right on target, right on time, and unfortunately it hit right off. Sounded like the pads of the intended receiver, Kind.
Right.
He had a big chance there to get the Legion their first down of this game, as I would guess we're closing in on the end of the first quarter right now. But New York still looking for their first down. Empire State already on the board with 8 and a chance to get their defense back on the sideline here.
And I would not be so bold as to say that Tremel Williams had time on that play, but the extra defender who came in on the blitz, False Henry, was picked up nicely by the Legion interior lineman and gave Williams the opportunity to throw that one on a line. 3rd down and long, flags on the play, and it'll be a false start on the Legion. So 3rd and 9 becomes 3rd and 14, and that much tougher.
Much tougher indeed, and it may not seem like much, but to go from a 3rd and 9 to a 3rd and 14 makes a world of difference, especially on a night like this. And the Legion moving in the wrong direction now. We've seen that plaguing both teams in this game. A false start by the Demon Knights on the goal line. They were able to overcome it. We'll see if the Legion can overcome a false start on 3rd down.
Yeah, and with the pressure coming in like it is, Joe, you wonder if your receivers have even the time to run their routes 10 to 15 yards down the field before you have white jerseys on top of Williams. We'll see what they cook up here on 3rd and 14. Once again, Demon Knights show blitz. It comes in. Williams is going to take it himself. He does gain the edge. He turns towards the middle of the field, but is dumped out of bounds at about the 31, 32-yard line. So closer, but it'll be a 4th down and about 4 here if this spot holds. Now, down marker says 3, but this will be a 4th down here and about 4 yards. So decision-making time for the Legion. Down by a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. And I think, Joe, are we done with the first quarter?
I believe we are.
Yes, we are. So 15 minutes complete here in Granny Road Park. We will not throw it to break. We'll stay with you here on the PDF Sports Network. 4th and 4 when we come back. So right now we see Tremel Williams standing deep and not really forming a huddle here with his team. We'll see if that happens. The lack of a huddle infers that they will be punting here.
And I'm a bit surprised by that, Dave. I think 4th down and manageable, maybe sub 5 or 6 yards or so. I would have expected them to go for it, but they trust their defense, and you do have that 12th man being the rainfall and the nasty conditions outside. That has improved since kickoff.
Williams got off a really good punt the first time. He punted about 40 yards in the air at least, but it was a great return by Tavion Johnson that really set the Bandits up on that last drive. And the fake throw, and now the punt straight up in the air. This is very, very short, and will go out of bounds at about the 42-yard line. Wow. So about a 12 or 13-yard punt on that, and Joe, hindsight being 20/20, probably should have went for it.
I had a tough time finding that one, Dave. He kicked it straight up in the air. I lost it above the sight line that we have beneath our covering here on the sideline. And when it finally came down, it landed in the Empire State bench at about the 40 or 45-yard line. So the Demon Knights will take over with great starting field position once again. And they can really put New York in a tough spot with a score on this drive.
Well, this is the Demon Knights' 4th drive of the game, and this is their worst starting field position. They're at the 42-yard line of the Legion. So they have really had that go in their direction all night. Potential for the Legion to kind of back them up on that last punt, but here we go. Being able to play with the lead. Caballero will work under center. Long play count. The give is to Lopez. Lopez finds a seam and now wants to bounce it off to the outside. He gains the 35-yard line before he is shoved out of bounds. Good job by the Legion to catch up to Lopez. Otherwise, he could have been off to the races. Gaining about 7 on the play.
And Lopez with a nice jump cut to bounce that run to the outside. Looked like he was about to turn it upfield once he got outside toward his left tackle, but he decided to take it a bit wider toward the far sideline. That decision paid off. He picked up a couple of extra yards that way. And once again, a good first down run for Lopez and the Demon Knights.
So ball now spotted at the 34-yard line. So 2nd down and 2 coming up after the 8-yard gain. But good initial charge by the Legion to get into the Demon Knights backfield, kind of blow up that play, but a better play by Lopez to bounce it to the outside. We'll see if the Demon Knights keep it on the ground where they have had some success. Their nemesis really has been the penalty here in the first quarter. Lopez up the middle, bounces for a first down. A little bit more as they get inside the 30-yard line. Bodies peeling themselves up, but one of the Legion players slow to get up. And looks like we might have a timeout on the field as one of the Legion players being tended to. Joe, what do you make of the first few drives here by the Demon Knights and their play call selection?
Well, I think it's a lot of what we expected. We've seen a run on just about every snap, and when they have thrown it, they've been measured in their approach. They're not trying to air it out down the field and take any unnecessary chances. They're not going to make that key mistake that cost them a game. Now, on one of those pass attempts, a play-action pass attempt, Caballero was very fortunate to hold on to the football. He put himself in a really tough spot, scrambling backward, scrambling to his right. Fortunately for him, his strong side, that makes it a bit easier to protect the football. Fortunately for him as well, he was hit from the front. He saw the defenders coming, and that also helped him in securing the football. That was a big negative play, and it looked like it might derail the Empire State drive. Instead, A.J. Ray with another big reception prolonged the drive. The Demon Knights go on to score a touchdown. Ray, of course, the one who took it into the end zone on the end around. And they are helping an injured Legion player off the field. I think that may have been number 17, but that's David DeSalvatore.
No,
so unless someone
11,
else is wearing his jersey, okay.
Perot John Charles.
Tough to tell with those jersey tucks in the back. But you were right. John Charles, the player, helped to the sideline.
Ball is spotted at the 30-yard line. Fresh set of downs here for the Demon Knights. Picked up the first down off of 2 running plays in the legs of Ty Lopez. And there go on the reverse side this time and making men miss and getting more yards. Believe that was Stephon Washington. Although we'll have to get a name on the back of that jersey. Demon Knights have 2 number 3s on their roster. And we'll see. Get your name there. No, that was actually Eric Johnson, who on the hosted website, Joe, is listed as 225 pounds. But I don't know if Eric Johnson is 225.
We're getting a good look at the huddle now. I would be surprised. 225?
225.
No.
Eric Johnson is listed as. I believe that's a typo. Either way, good yardage and enough for the first down. Exactly 10 on the play. Now the give is right up the middle to Lopez, who's going to get stood up. And not much going on at all. Maybe a gain of 1 or 2 on the play, but that's it. Legion have done well in the interior run game. Lopez has been successful at bouncing a couple to the outside, but give credit to the Legion defense in close.
Well, the Legion defense know the objective, Dave. They have to stop the run to have a chance in this game. At some point, they're going to need to force a turnover in a position where the offense can take over, pick up a first down or 2, and turn that into a score. This isn't that spot on the field right now. The Legion defense simply needs to hold on this drive and then play the field position game the rest of the way. I think that field position game is a big reason we saw them punt not too long ago.
Ball is spotted at the 18-yard line. It's second and about 9.5. Minimal gain on that last play. Caballero continues to work under center. Play clock winding down. The give is to the left side. DeRosa Jr. bounces it in for 3 or 4.
Demon Knights continue to move in a positive direction, though, Dave, and that's key. They've avoided penalties on this drive. They've avoided tackles for a loss. And even when they've been stopped on their running plays and not gained much, those plays haven't been blown up in the backfield. They've taken care of the football. And it seems like they're beginning to find their rhythm offensively in the running game.
And it's going to be a 1st and goal, I believe, because the down markers are not around anymore. They've been taken offline. I don't know exactly what the down and distance is from our angle as we're being obscured. Meanwhile, the give is up the middle, and that one is blown up in the backfield. Nothing doing, as it was Lopez who got spilled down.
Well, I just said it, Dave. The Demon Knights had avoided the negative play. They hadn't seen runs blown up in the backfield. I engaged the commentator's jinx again.
2nd and goal from the 6.
I think it was Kerzavis Bing who blew that play up. He wears number 40 for the Legion.
Caballero turns, pitches right side, and looking for that pylon was Lopez, but once again, black jerseys there to make the play. Thomas Roth, the first Legion player in on the tackle, minimal gain, and it will be 3rd down and goal from about the 5.
Well, these next two plays, Dave, will probably dictate the course of this game. If you're the Legion, you can't afford to give up a touchdown here. You have to get your defense off of the field. And even though the offense is going to be put in a tough spot to begin the drive, at the very least, you've kept Empire State off the board. You want to try and make it until halftime, trailing by just one score or perhaps within a couple of points if you can get a touchdown of your own. And this next play is going to go a long way toward being able to do that.
On the plus side for the Demon Knights, plenty of options here with the ball at the 5-yard line. 3rd and goal. Caballero, fake pitch, the give inside to Elliot Richards. He bounces off a couple of Legion players, and looks like the ball might have been out, Joe. Ball might have been out. It is down. He's ruled down. Line side judge came in to say that L.A. Richards was down on the play, and the ball spotted at what looks to be about the 2-yard line.
Well, Dave, I was trying to find the football. You could hear down on the field the players reacting as if they felt the ball came out, and I was then looking for the football through our camera. Could not find it. I'm not sure who ultimately ended up with it, as it looks like a timeout has been called, I believe, by the Legion.
It has, yeah. Legion called timeout. But, Joe, I was following that play on the binoculars, and as soon as that ball came out and players started yelling for the ball, the side judge who came in from the far side of the field was whistling L.A. Richards down on the play. So no matter who ended up getting that ball, I think it was moot because they whistled Richards down, and the ball spotted right now from just inside. Actually, that's at the 1-yard line. I was going to say it was just inside the yard line for the 2-point conversion. But that ball is at the 1. It'll be 4th down and goal. And so much on the table here. Caballero with a potential keeper. They've utilized the pitch. They've utilized the reverse.
The entire playbook is open from this spot,
Right.
Dave, but you have one play to get this. If you don't, you do trap the Legion as deep in their own territory as you can. QB sneak could be on the table as well, too, Dave.
Yep. Caballero under center, and we have movement. That one could have been on the defense, Joe. It looked like the nose guard was the first to move. Let's see. Now, half the distance might not be the worst thing for the Legion in order to cheat and kind of try to get in there just half a step early. But it looks like they're going to back the Demon Knight. Oh, no, maybe not. I thought at first they were backing the ball up, although I don't see where the ball has been spotted.
There's really nowhere to move the ball up, Dave.
Right.
They may have moved it up an inch or two. They were fairly close to the end zone. Maybe they gained half a yard out of it, but I don't think they gained much.
So, indeed, offside on the defense, half the distance to the goal, and not much distance indeed. 4th down and goal. We'll call it the 1. It's probably at the 1-inch line. Hard count for Caballero. He'll throw it corner, and that one's bobbled and intercepted. Intercepted by the Legion in the end zone. This will be a touchback. Now, a lot of players just standing around, Joe, not sure if there was any flags on the field. There is in the end zone. There is a flag down in the corner of the end zone. Now, the Legion offense is heading onto the field, and a wave of Demon Knights players also heading on. Conversations between A.J. Ray and defenders going on. And this is a huge call coming up.
Well, we do apologize to our viewers watching at home. We have a tent that is providing us cover from the rain. Without the covering, we couldn't operate our broadcast. The equipment would get wet. Fate would have it that interception took place directly behind the support for our tent, and it took the camera out of focus. So you did not see that last interception on video. All of the action transpired directly behind the leg of our tent. But it does appear right now anyway as if the Legion defense is on the field. Empire State will get another shot. Now, did we get any signal of the penalty?
We did not, and I was looking at the white hat the entire time. Didn't get it. I don't know what down it is either. It should still be, unless it's an automatic first with a pass interference call, and it is. It's a first down.
I think it's fourth down, Dave.
Is. Okay.
It's fourth down.
So fourth down. The give up the middle. Do we have a signal? Yes, we do. Touchdown, Demon Knights. So the Demon Knights, who have been guilty of being penalized tonight a few times, get the benefits of a penalty called their way. They get the extra down to score, and they make it hurt. It's now 14-0.
Well, Dave, I didn't see how close that was, but you have to wonder if perhaps the additional half yard or so that the Legion conceded with the penalty on the encroachment played a role in that touchdown, because initially it didn't look like Demon Knights got much push. Lopez kind of plunged for the end zone, did have some good steam behind that run, and was able to lower his pads and get across the goal line. The signal was not immediate, so it had to be at least a bit close. But Empire State scores their second touchdown. Chance here to go up by 16.
So the score 14-0 here. 2-point conversion upcoming. Tough break for the Legion, who held well inside their own 10. There's the pitch. It's going to go to Lopez. Lopez looking to turn the corner and gain the pylon. He does. So he gets the 2-point conversion after being bounced around a little bit like a pinball. And as Joe mentioned, the lead is now 16.
Well, there's a reason he was the leading rusher in the EFA last season. He can take a hit in the backfield. He can take some shots, but he just keeps on running, runs hard. And with that ability to break tackles combined with good agility and speed, that's exactly what you're looking for in a running back. And they've handed the ball to him many times already in this game. He's made the most of those opportunities. And the Demon Knights now lead by 2 scores as the rain begins to fall just a bit harder. You might hear it coming over our headsets as it comes down on top of our covering, but even in the view of our camera, you can see heavy droplets falling from above us into the field of view. And I think it's fair to say the conditions may be worsening just a bit out there, and that's not going to make things any easier on the Legion.
Yeah, I was just about to mention the same thing. The rain had stopped for a good 5 to 10 minutes, but it has picked up a little bit. It's misty on our cameras, but coming down at a pretty good clip at this point. The temperatures have also dropped a bit. And the Legion will have to come from behind 2 scores now. Remember that the Demon Knights kicked off to start the game, so the Legion will get the ball. The Demon Knights will get the ball first in the second half, as we believe we're about at the midway point of this second quarter. In a game that got started very late, that was kicked straight into an up man for the Legion and taken right there, Liam McGee. Nice catch on the fly. That hit him right between the numbers. And for the first time, the Legion will start a drive inside of Demon Knights territory for a change.
Well, as an up man, given the circumstances right now with the weather, I'm not sure you could have handled that ball any better than that. McGee did a great job to secure that ball as it hit him square in the chest. And if he's not sure-handed, that ball bounces right back toward 11 Demon Knights who are all chasing after it. So a good job by McGee. And you said it, Dave, the Legion finally gets some good field position in this game. The Demon Knights have been the beneficiaries of turnovers and great field position off of them. And it almost hurt the Legion immeasurably to get the ball first in this game. It put them back against their own end zone with them turning the ball over in that spot on their first possession. It really set up Empire State to win the field position game, something they've taken full advantage of in this first half.
Yeah, and of course, again, hindsight 2020, but you kind of wonder about that kickoff there. The Demon Knights have done such a good job of pinning the Legion offense in the shadow of their own goalpost this entire quarter and this entire half, and have really been able to reap the benefits the other way from that. Now we have a timeout, I believe, by the Demon Knights. So Demon Knights want to get themselves organized. They have 1 timeout remaining. You may not see it on your screen, but they've utilized now their second timeout, Legion with 2 remaining.
Well, the Demon Knights were trying to sort out their defensive substitutions. They had a player run off following that kick. Then that player ran back on, and that prompted the timeout. They were a bit confused coming off of that special teams play when it came to their substitutions. They'll use a timeout. But going back to your point, Dave, what you said about the decision to kick that short, I'm with you there. you can steal a possession in that spot, and I think that was executed as well as it could have been. Straight into the chest of the up man. Not an easy grab for him, but McGee was able to bring it in and make sure the Demon Knights couldn't get the ball back. But the Legion simply haven't been able to move the football in this first half.
Right.
And to give them an opportunity from the plus side of midfield not only gives them that chance to potentially score, but should the Demon Knights be able to force another turnover or force the Legion to a fourth down situation where they look to punt, they get worse field position than they would have if they gave the ball to the Legion off of a kickoff.
Yep, and for what it's worth, the Demon Knights are up 16-0, and they deserve to be up 16-0, but got to give some credit to the Legion. Their defense has bent a little bit. I don't know if you could say that they've officially broken at this point. They've played pretty well, albeit giving up the 2 touchdowns on very short fields. But the offense is going to have to score more than twice to win anyway, as we have a free play for the Legion, and they will utilize it to go on the sideline, and that one is incomplete. Both receiver and defensive back with a chance at it. It looked like a free play from the beginning.
Well, that's the right move if you're Williams as the quarterback for the Legion. Heaving that ball up down the field and taking a chance, knowing you had a free play. And once again, you could really make the case, watching this game through the lens of a camera, that there is movement on every single play. It's just fractions of a second that are the difference between a legal play and early movement by the offense or potentially encroachment by the defense. And having never taken in a game from this perspective before, you really see that, and you get a very up-close look at it, even more so being stationed right on the sideline here.
Well, no doubt the Legion will take the easy 5 yards here. 1st and 5 after the penalty. Shotgun for Williams, pressured right away. The throw on the near side elevated, too high for Smallwood to get to. It'll be 2nd and 5.
Bit of a misfire there by Williams. He had an opportunity to get another completion, perhaps get something going for the Legion offensively, as it's been a struggle for them. And they've had a couple of chances on pass plays. One, certainly on the receiver. The catch wasn't made. That throw a bit high. That more on the quarterback. And the quarterback and his receivers need to get on the same page here because the openings are there.
Right.
The opportunities for completions are there.
Once again, the Demon Knights showing heavy pressure. They come with it. And again, another pass too high in the direction of Smallwood. It'll be 3rd down and 5.
Well, I'm listening in right now to the Demon Knights sideline and their reaction to each of those last couple of plays. And it seems like they're content to let the Legion throw the football.
Yeah. And the fact of the matter is, when you're pressuring that heavily, in that time, Jaquan Weich really with the immediate pressure. When you get pressure that quickly, as a quarterback, you just can't survey the field. It's just impossible. So the safety on the play is going to be your only target. 3rd and 5. Tramell Williams is going to run from the outset, and he is going to get the 1st down. Now, the Demon Knights wanted to hold there, and they may have had a case. Now, the folks at home who are watching can back that up 10 or 15 seconds to see it. But I believe I saw a Demon Knight player getting tackled on their way to tackling Tramell Williams, and that is exactly the argument that they are telling the officials. Fell on deaf ears that time, and I believe that's the first down of the game for the Legion.
And you are correct, Dave, and we highlighted it a bit during the pregame. We spoke a bit more about it once the game got started. But when the Legion had success running against the Demon Knights in last year's season finale, they did so from the quarterback position. Right. And I think we're going to see a lot more of that as this game moves forward.
Yeah, and I really liked what the Gators did against the Demon Knights in their playoff game last year. We'll get to that after this play. Williams once again going back to pass. 3 guys on top of him looking middle of the field. That one gets bounced around before falling incomplete near the goal line. I believe Gooding was the intended receiver. He did get a mitten on it, but that's about it. But, Joe, I don't know if you remember in that game against the Gators kind of allowed the Demon Knights' pursuit to go in, and they were constantly running that delayed handoff and working it to perfection, or that delayed run. And it was working well because of that over pursuit by the Demon Knights.
Well, Dave, I'll tell you this. If you go back and watch a lot of the game film and really absorb some of the tendencies of these teams, having covered some of them now 5 or 6 times over the last 2 years, keep in mind, the season is just 8 games. You can learn quite a bit from going back and taking in those games, many of which I've watched several times, and I think you're right on the money with your assessment of that playoff game from last season.
So 2nd down and 10. Once again, the Demon Knights crowding the box. And it's going to be an immediate rush by Williams. He has the lane. He reverses to his right side, and he is just shy of the 10-yard line. 1st down for the Legion.
Well, how about that, Dave? The Legion going back to what worked in that Week 8 matchup last season. Williams now beginning to take advantage of this Demon Knights defense. And to your point, Dave, that was a bit of a delayed quarterback run. That was a quarterback draw. They let that one develop. They let the blocking set up, and then Williams took off, and there was a gaping hole up the middle. So I think commentators' jinx perhaps strikes again.
Well, the ball spotted at the 14-yard line. Obviously the deepest the Legion have been today. And, boy, what a confidence builder this could be if they can punch this one in. 1st down and 10 from the 14 in a game in which they trail 16-0. Williams will once again take it immediately, and that time is able to maybe get back to the line of scrimmage, but that's it.
Now, the more they run this quarterback draw, I think the easier it becomes to defend if you're the Demon Knights. You get an idea of how they're looking to block it, what Williams' tendencies are as a ball carrier. But if you're the Legion now, perhaps you could take advantage and try and maybe pitch the ball forward. I think a shovel pass could be something that may catch Empire State off guard. Just anything to take advantage of the defense's eyes on the quarterback. You get close to the goal line, you could even see a jump pass.
Yeah, and Williams is not that tall either. You could see it on your screen. He has to look up over that offensive and defensive line on 2nd and 10. Go straight back. He's under heavy duress, and he will get put down.
Now, is that a legal pass?
Well,
no, it is not. There's a flag.
Yeah.
It is not. You cannot do that.
Well, Joe, I was looking at that through the binoculars, and I kind of lost sight of the ball when it was let go. So I didn't really even see the pass. I saw Williams get swallowed up.
Now, that's not a good penalty if you're the Legion, because in addition to the loss of down, I believe there's a yardage penalty that comes with that as well.
Well,
he simply flipped the ball to his offensive tackle as he was going down.
Well, they are discussing it, all 4 officials, and we'll get an official decision here. Now, that play was a 2nd and 10 from the 14-yard line. So if there is a loss of down on this play, now the Legion are getting set to just run another play here, but still have a flag down on the field that needs to get sorted out.
Well, I'm fairly certain they've moved the football back because the Legion, if not mistaken, are a bit further back than they were. So,
well, now the ball's being picked up, and it is going to be
backed up further.
Backed up all the way to the 25-yard line, which would 24-yard line. So that makes it a 3rd down and 20. So, Joe, the down is now 3rd down as well. So it was a 2nd and 10. Now it's a 3rd and 20. So
10-yard penalty and loss of down. They cost themselves about 10 yards there with that penalty.
Yeah, exactly 10. 3rd and 20. You know the Legion will have to throw now. Immediate rush. Maybe a free play here for the Legion. They go up the middle. That pass incomplete. Chance to get intercepted that time, but it fell harmlessly to the ground. It looked like a free play from the outset. Tavion Johnson really had the best chance at it for the Demon Knights.
Well, they're trying to get Vaughn Gooding the football. The Demon Knights are all over him defensively. They are not going to let Gooding beat them. And he turned into a defender.
Right.
last time he was targeted, broke up a would-be interception. That ball was thrown into a very dangerous spot. Now, they didn't officially signal the penalty, or did they, when I was focusing down the field? Because it was a 5-yard penalty against Empire State.
Correct.
It is still third down.
It's third down, but now 15 instead of 20. So 3rd and 15 for the Legion after the Demon Knights got the head start on that last play. McLaughlin is in the backfield, probably to help with the rush that's going to be coming in hot on Tramel Williams. He doesn't offer a chip, but they go in the corner, and that one is incomplete. Again, Gooding got a hand on it, but probably the best player positioned to make the play was the Demon Knights defender. It'll be 4th down.
Gooding's a big target. You got to give him a chance. And that ball, not sure gave him a chance in the midst of multiple defenders. You know that New York will go for this here. And at the very least, if you're the Legion, you have to make sure this ball reaches the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
Give yourselves a chance, though they can pick up a first down just short of the goal line. So there is a small window, as timeout has been called by the Legion here. So they'll discuss this play ahead of 4th down.
That's their second timeout called. And the first down marker, Joe, is at the 4-yard line. So it'll be 4th and 15 from the 19. So can get the benefits of the first down without the touchdown, but you're right. I mean, this play has to be drawn up somewhere in the end zone or just shy of.
You can see it. We have a great view of that Legion huddle. The rain, Dave, really coming down. And earlier in the night, the rain you could see was being taken a bit by the light wind. Not as much now. It's a much heavier rainfall than we saw earlier in the night.
Yeah, and if just to explain it a little bit, it's almost like a cold blanket coming down. It's very soft, it's very airy, but it is constant, and it's coming down straight down on the players. Now, we're fortunate it's not a windy day, but it's starting to get awful cold out here as well. We expect the temperatures to get just under 50 degrees here, but the way our summer and fall has worked, that's pretty cold.
What's the feel like?
I would say it's that, Joe. I would say it's in the high 40s. But that rain, we're under tent. When you're out there in the rain getting soaked on, it feels probably a little bit less than that. All right, big play. Probably biggest of the game to this point for the Legion. 4th down and 15. They'll need a bunch here. Tramel Williams will roll to his right. Will he take it himself? Yes, he will. He's running out of real estate. It looks like he went out of bounds. He did go out of bounds short of the first down marker. Now, I'm wondering if there is a flag down here. Now, this is happening on the far side of the field from us.
I do not see a flag.
I don't. I believe the whistles were because Williams had stepped out of bounds. And we'll see where they officially mark it. The Demon Knights offense is coming back into the game. So turnover on downs for the Legion, who were not helped by that big 10-yard penalty, obviously.
Well, Dave, remember what I said earlier about the Legion needing to force 1 or 2 turnovers? Now's the time.
Yeah.
They have to have this football back. Otherwise, this becomes potentially an insurmountable lead with Empire State getting the ball back. It's going to be really tough to make up 2 scores in these conditions. Add that to the fact that the Legion offense has struggled a bit in this game. That was by far their best drive. That being said, they didn't connect on a single pass, and they passed quite a bit. They did not have a completion on that drive, if I'm not mistaken. A few misfires, a big run by Williams. That was the really impactful play for them offensively on that drive, and they couldn't make anything of it. And you said it before, their defense has not played poorly in this game. They need more of that on this drive, especially with Empire State getting started deep in their own territory.
Ball's at the 14-yard line. So they needed 15 on that 4th down. They only got 5 of it on a drive that went 30 yards for the Legion before fizzling out. The give is going the opposite way, and getting wrestled down was Darius Grice on the play. Gets his first carry of the game, and that might have been a pretty significant loss here on first down.
Well, that play was blown up in the backfield.
Oh, yes, it was.
As soon as it got started. And now you're in a position where
It's a 10-yard loss.
As a defender, you're looking to make what could be a game-changing play here if you can come away with the safety. Should they look to pass? I'm not sure they will.
Yeah, that was a big loss. That ball's about the 5-yard line. They'll go to the corner here with Lopez, and Lopez gets shoved to the ground at about the 10-yard line.
Well, if you're the Legion and you can't get a turnover here, this is the next best thing.
Yep. Now the Demon Knights are looking to go quickly because we believe time is running short here. And I made a mistake. I thought the original line of scrimmage was the 14. It's the 10. So it's a 3rd down and 10 here from the 10. They go to the corner, and that one's caught by Sawicki. Sawicki tries to turn up the field, but he is going to be just short of the first down marker. It'll be a 4th down and about 2. So here's a decision with the Legion defense playing pretty well here. We're about 3 yards away from a first down. Ball spotted at the 16.
I think they just said 3 seconds. Though I'm not sure if they were referring to the game clock.
Sawicki did go out of bounds, so the clock is out at this point. They do go sideline. Sawicki makes the grab. He will have enough for the first down. He does. No, the clock continues to move. The Demon Knights have 1 timeout remaining. They've elected right now not to use it.
Okay, so there had to be more than 3 seconds.
Right. Sticks move now. The ball's at the 23-yard line. First down for the Demon Knights. But obviously the clock running out. Somewhere there'll have to be a big play on this drive. Caballero continues to look in that direction. Now up the sideline. That one is very nearly picked off. Intended for A.J. Ray, but Smallwood was there first. And could that be the half?
I heard a whistle.
I believe it is. So that is halftime here as we have reached the midway point of this game. The Demon Knights on consecutive touchdowns take a 16-0 lead into intermission. Joe, we expected smash mouth football. We had a little bit of sloppy football to start this one off. 3 turnovers on the first 3 drives of the game, if you want to call them drives. First 3 plays of the game. Since then, game has settled down nicely, and the Demon Knights have themselves a 16-point lead and will get the ball first in the 3rd.
Well, if you're the Demon Knights, you have to like how you played following those pair of turnovers to open the game. After that, things went pretty well for them. Offensively, they moved the ball consistently. Defensively, they didn't allow any points. I mentioned coming into the game, the Legion have struggled to score in their games this season, but if you're the Demon Knights, you have to come in expecting to play well on the defensive side of the ball. They've checked that box. Outside of those first 2 plays, they protected the ball well. They've checked that box. The running game has been there. And if you're the Legion, if there's any signs that they might be able to make a push and get back into this game, those were shown on that final drive. They did get the running game going from the quarterback position. We'll have to see if they can parlay that into running from the running back position, or perhaps at the very least trying to get this Demon Knights defense off balance with some trickery. They have to find a way to take that success they had running from the quarterback position and using it to find some success in another area offensively, because the running quarterback alone can't get the job done. They have had some dropped passes. They've had some misfires on some passes. If they can clean some of that up, maybe they can get within 1 score and make this game interesting late. The Demon Knights hope to put that to bed with a big drive to open the second half.
Conversely from that, Joe, the Demon Knights, they get the 2 touchdown drives on ground and pound football, running up the A-gaps, spilling some runs off to the outside. It's really been their run game that has been on today, and on a night that we figured it would need to be with these conditions. What have you seen from their ground game?
I've seen a lot to like. They've been consistent on most plays. They've been moving in the right direction, and that's key. When the other defense knows you're going to run the football, to still be able to do so and pick up positive plays is a big deal, because that's showing the other defense, you can't stop us. We know we're going to run the ball. You know that we're going to run the ball. Tongue-tying myself here as it gets a bit colder, but the Demon Knights are looking to run it. The Legion know they are going to run it, and yet the Demon Knights have still found success on the ground. part of that's been broken tackles in the backfield by Ty Lopez. That's been big, but they managed to get other players involved from other positions in the running game, and I think that's a big reason for their success.
Okay, well, we are expecting an abridged halftime here, and we'll get you back to second half action. What Joe and I will do is come off headset for a few minutes. When we come back, we'll get you ready for the second half of football here live from Granny Road Park. It's the score Empire State 16 and the New York Legion nothing. When we come back, second half action. Stay with us. This is the EFA on the PDF Sports Network. Welcome back here. Granny Road Park, Medford, New York, under the cover of a consistent rain for the entire game so far. It has definitely picked up. Here we imagined we would have an abridged halftime, and that's exactly what has happened as both teams are now making their way back onto the field. The Legion will kick off to start the second half. And as we've mentioned a few times, signs of life for the Legion. They are not out of this game by any stretch, but certainly the Demon Knights have proven stout defensively, and they were able to piece together a couple of touchdown drives to take a 16-0 lead with possession of the football here to start the second half.
Well, Dave, it's simple. If you're the Legion defense, you have to come away with a stop on this drive. Now, I think we need to watch for any potential trickery on this kickoff. We've seen the Demon Knights squib one. We've seen them kick a line drive right at one of the up men. Not sure if the Legion would look to do something similar, but I'm definitely keeping my eye on this kickoff. And if you're the Demon Knights offensively, get right back to what you were doing on your last two scoring drives. They've run the ball effectively. They've capitalized on mistakes by the Legion that have come in the form of penalties. Penalties have been a killer on that last drive, especially for the Legion down around the goal line. They allowed Empire State to get a bit closer with the offsides. A stop on fourth down was negated by a penalty, and the Demon Knights ultimately scored.
See our first kickoff return for the Empire State Demon Knights. Line drive kick that ends up into the hands of Lopez at about the 30-yard line, and he gets spilled out at the 40. Bodies fly. And the Demon Knights bench fired up after a couple of huge blocks that set up.
It wasn't the blocks.
No?
He put on a nasty juke that broke ankles.
Okay.
And a defender went down, and the bench loved it. We did get a good look at it, though there was a lot of foot traffic in the way, so you might not have gotten a clean look at the juke, but that's what it was. And that's what I was saying before, Dave. You see things watching the game through the lens of a camera that you will not see if you're following the big picture.
I believe it.
All of the action. And there was a big juke on that return. You'll see it there on the replay in just a few moments. Our viewers at home will have to wind it back manually.
Right. So the Demon Knights, as they've had all game long, good starting field position. I believe this is the first time they've set up on their own side of the field. They're at the 41-yard line to start things off. In a game in which they're up by 2 scores, they would love to take an even greater stranglehold on this game. Shotgun formation for Caballero. He will indeed go back to pass. Looked sideline, now goes up the middle of the field. Gain of about 5 or 6 on the play. And I believe it's another catch for Sawicki. No, actually we have a new pass receiver making his first catch, Nicholas Spencer. Number 23, middle of the field.
Dave, my roster has left the premises.
Blown away, huh?
It has blown away. The elements have finally taken my roster. But going back to that return for just one moment, you had to be thinking to yourself, wow, this sideline sure is psyched up about some big blocks.
I thought it was a block because I saw 2 players
wearing well blocked
dark jerseys on the ground, but for other reasons, obviously.
One of them anyway.
2nd down and 4 from right ahead of us in front of the broadcast tent. About 6 to 8 feet elevated for us. The give is to Lopez. Lopez, huge hole, middle of the field. And he is off to the races. Inside the 20 and to the house. Touchdown, Demon Knights. There is a flag that has come down late. I believe Lopez was already in the end zone and then some when that came out. And we will see what the call is. But there are a lot of angry Demon Knights at the conclusion of this play. What a run by Ty Lopez. We'll see if he was maybe given some assistance on the way in.
Well, that corner is a really bad spot from our perspective, Dave, because as soon as that fixture that supports our covering comes into view, we lose focus on the entire shot. So we lost some of what happened after the conclusion of that run, but you definitely got a chance to take in all of that carry by Lopez. He's been phenomenal in this game. We talked about his ability to break tackles, his ability to find the hole and bounce runs to the outside. For the first time tonight, we got a look at his breakaway speed on that particular run.
Yeah.
He turned what was a run up the middle into a foot race between he and the safeties, and he won that foot race easily.
Yep. Some teams have power backs, some teams have speed backs. Well, the Demon Knights have
Ty
Lopez, who is both whenever he needs to be. Now, Joe, the ball has been spotted all the way back at the 29-yard line. This will be a first down, but there was a hold up the field that allowed Lopez to spring loose. You all at home have the benefits of rewinding and trying to find out. We do not here. In live action, it certainly looked like the Jets were on for Lopez, and that's all he needed. But assistance down the field causes a penalty. The score remains 16-0 in favor of Empire State.
Well, maybe that's why Lopez won the foot race, Dave.
Right.
Because he did break away late in that run.
He sure did. Going from left to right as well on that play, but the give is right back to Lopez. Lopez this time is stood up, but not before he moves ahead and falls forward for about 5 yards. And now we have more flags coming in as Lopez protesting about stuff that has happened after the play.
Well, I lost him in that pile. There were a lot of bodies in the middle of that play. And that penalty is going against the Legion, so
right.
That ball is going to be moved a bit closer to the red zone. It was already spotted at the 25.
Right. We'll see if this is the 15-yard variety, whether it was a face mask or a personal foul at the end of that play. And there is a chance. Well, actually, it's outside the 10-yard line. I was going to say there's a chance this could be a first and goal after all that, but not the case. Looks like the ball is spotted at about the 12-yard line.
Half the distance, Dave. Personal foul.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. So first and 10 from the 12 for the Demon Knights. Up by 16, looking for more. Caballero, long count under center. L.A. Richards is behind him this time. The fake to him. Now the give to Darius Grice, who gets stood up for a couple of moments after getting maybe 3 yards on the play. It'll be second down.
Question is, how close did he get?
Well, it looks like he eclipsed the 10-yard line going in, so it's like about a 2nd and 7 on the play. He's got about 2 or 3.
And you know, Dave, I'll tell you, watching it through the camera lens from this perspective, I thought he was around the goal line. It's really hard to gauge how far forward he's actually run when you're taking in the action through a lens. But
it's a difficult perspective for sure. We are not elevated all that much, so really where your camera view is exactly where our eye line is as well. This is exactly our view you have at home as we do.
The camera is my eyes tonight. I haven't looked up at the action much.
Shotgun formation for Caballero with Richards once again to his left. They go 3 wide on the near side. Caballero looks in that direction. Now maybe will take it himself. Drops a shoulder and is closer. Looks like just inside the 5-yard line. Now remember, the Demon Knights can pick up a first down without a touchdown here. It looks like about a 3rd and 1 coming up.
Well, it's easy to forget about the fact that Caballero is a mobile quarterback. He can move back there, and every once in a while the Demon Knights will look to move the pocket for him. That time he pulled down what looked like it was going to be a pass attempt and took off. And very quickly the Legion had to rally to make the tackle now. Unfortunately, the huddle is a bit obstructed by a sideline umbrella. We'll do our best to work around that.
PDF Sportsnet sponsored by. Maybe we'll get an emblem on that, and they get a free commercial out of it.
Well, it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I believe that's what that umbrella signifies. So we're advertising some good causes here on PDF, free of charge.
3rd down, maybe 1.5 here, but the Demon Knights can get the first without scoring. Caballero looking right side, now middle of the field, back of the end zone. That was incomplete. Pass was dropped. There are flags down, by the back of the end zone, perhaps for a hold in the end zone against A.J. Ray, who could not come down with it. Now, the ball was in his hands, and I think Ray would argue that he should have caught that one, but we'll see what the flag is for.
Well, I don't think there's much doubt he should have caught it, but we need to answer the question, why didn't he catch it? And was that because of some interference by the defense, potentially a hold, pass interference? Either way, it is first down.
First down, yep. They did signal a first down call. So now with the first down and goal from, it looks like, just inside the 3-yard line, the Demon Knights will have 4 shots to punch it in 3 yards away with a running game that has been on point here tonight.
That penalty is a backbreaker for the Legion. I mentioned it before. Penalties really hurt them on their last defensive possession.
Yep. Second touchdown given up was after a 4th down penalty call. There's the run inside the trenches and another touchdown for Ty Lopez, who's having himself a day. The score now 22-0 in favor of Empire State as Lopez in the end zone once more.
And he gets a chance to show off the dance moves here.
Yeah.
He and A.J. Ray, both in the end zone showing off the moves, and Lopez has done plenty of that out of the backfield tonight. Ray also has made big contributions. He had that huge 4th down reception, scored on the end around.
And he also threw a 2-point conversion pass.
That's right, he did.
That converted for another 2 points.
Big night for number 2.
Chance to go up here by the full breadth of 3 scores. Caballero will work from under center. Ty Lopez, the eye back. It gets pitched to him. They run the play again to Thedgill in the back of the end zone. That one's intercepted. But no, incomplete actually was the – no, actually it was intercepted. Doesn't count in the stat line for Smallwood. But all the same, he comes down with it. The score will remain 22-0 in favor of Empire State. And it's officially late or early for the Legion.
Well, now trailing by 3 scores. It is going to be an immensely tall task for the Legion to get back to within striking distance in this game. That was also a pretty methodical drive by the Demon Knights. There were quite a few penalties as well that helped it along, but after that big run, we spent a lot of time down around the New York end zone before the Demon Knights finally scored these last few minutes. So we'll see how much time is left in this third quarter. I would guess that we're probably just beyond the midway point, maybe toward the final 5 minutes of this quarter. But if you're the Legion, you need a score. You need it quickly. And I'm not quite sure how they're going to look to do that, because so far what's worked is the running game from the quarterback position. And I don't think the Demon Knights are going to allow those carries to go for big yardage anymore. They're going to force Williams to put the ball in the air. And if they do that, can the Legion receivers make the plays necessary? We've seen a couple of passes dropped. And can Williams make enough throws to get his offense down the field? We've seen some misfires. So some things to be sorted out for the Legion. Some things to like in this game as well for New York. Defensively, they haven't made things easy on the Demon Knights, but they haven't been able to pick up stops on now these last 3 Empire State drives.
And the Demon Knights will elect to kick that one out of bounds. I don't know if that was intentional. Now there are flags that come down as a couple of players were getting into it near this near sideline here. But the Legion should have the ball at their own 40-yard line after this penalty call, or after the kick out of bounds. And perhaps that was the flag indeed. I thought a couple of players had locked up for some extracurriculars down here. In fact, they were able to peel each other off. So the Legion will have the ball 1st and 10 from their own 40, I would believe.
Looks that way, Dave.
While we have a little bit of a break, I want to say hi to my wife at home, Jen, who was watching, Joe, about a half hour ago. She said, "Where's my shout-out?" Jen, if you're still listening, all of our equipment is safe under whatever we have to cover up our stuff. So just got to see our phones, but thanks for tuning in. Jen is watching with our 2 pups at home, Lotus and Toby. Toby had a hospital visit this week, but happy to say he's doing a lot better. So, indeed, Legion first and 10. Own 40. They need points. They need them in a hurry. They are down 22-0 here, courtesy of 3 offensive touchdowns by the Demon Knights, who have been humming with their run game. And for the Legion, Joe, I could be wrong. I have them as just 1 completed pass all game long. They're going to need something here. Williams looking to gain that edge, and he can't find it. He will be put down for a loss of about 6 or 7 yards on the play. Good job to stay with the play by the Demon Knights.
Going back to what you said, Dave, about 1 completion for the Legion, I think you're right, and the completion was a very short one.
3 yards.
They've had chances, however.
Yeah.
And one came when this game was a bit closer in the first half, and it would have gone for about 15 or 20 yards over the middle. The problem in that spot is that even with a 15 or 20-yard completion on that play, the Legion still would have been at only their own 40. Mm-hmm. And I think the early battle for field position that was won by the Demon Knights changed the complexion of this game completely. The Demon Knights obviously kicked to open this game, and I think that hurt the Legion in a big way. That decision to receive, or perhaps Empire State's decision to defer, proved to be a huge one.
Loss of officially 6 on the play, 2nd down and 16. So the Legion, who've been starved for offense, will have to make up a big chunk here. Good time for Tremel Williams, and bodies spill. Multiple flags down. We'll see what the call is here. But, Joe, it looked like just footwork got entangled. We'll see.
We had a pretty good look at it. Again, our viewers could cycle it back and decide for themselves what they think. But I'll tell you, the official along the near sideline heaved that flag into the center of the field right where that play took place. He wasn't that close. He was about maybe 15 or 20 yards behind the play, and he made sure that his flag landed in the region where that penalty occurred, and it does look like the call was pass interference. Yep. Now, that would be a 15-yard penalty.
Yep. And
in
a first
the EFA,
down.
And a first down as well. So they won't get the yardage equivalent to where that penalty took place. However, the Legion will end up just about 2 or 3 yards shy of midfield, and we'll see what happens. Right now, the down marker does read 2nd down.
Yeah, it reads 2nd and 2, and the down marker has not been adjusted either, and the official looked right at it.
They'll figure it out.
And we have whistles here. It's first down. Yeah, so that's the call here. First down.
The Legion figured it out.
They did protest, and they win that protest.
Rightfully so.
So 1st and 10 from the 48-yard line. Legion trying to get onto the Demon Knights side of the field for only the 2nd time in the game. They had a pretty decent drive there last time to end the 2nd quarter, or to their final drive of the 2nd quarter. Demon Knights actually ended the quarter on downs. Gooding in motion. Williams, the give underneath to McLaughlin, and McLaughlin just gets scooped up, and there is nowhere for him to go. Loss of about 3 or 4 on the play before it's all said and done. Number 37 again in on the play. Trying to get a name on the back of his jersey because he is not on our roster, but he's made some pretty impressive plays in the middle. Schultz, the last name on the jersey.
Dave, I have a feeling that is probably going to be the last time that we see the Legion hand the ball off unless they get it down to the goal line. We just haven't seen them able to run the football off of a handoff in any game that we've covered now from the end of last year through this season. And that's in stark contrast to what we saw from them earlier last season, where Ralston Romero was probably their best weapon on offense.
Right.
They were able to hand him the ball, and he had no problem finding openings, but they haven't been able to run late last year, now through this season.
The name Ralston Romero sounds familiar. He is now on the New York Bears, having a good season. Tremel Williams, sideline, incomplete. Well over the head of Smallwood. And that's just it, Joe. This passing game for the Legion, it has been so one-dimensional because there's just no time for Williams to scan the field. Now, he's been given quote-unquote time a couple of times in this game and has been able to look down the middle of the field, but really that has been the rule, the exception rather than the rule. And it'll be 3rd down and 14 coming up.
Well, if we go back to week 1 again, Williams was on the outside running go routes down the field.
Yeah.
He was the target that David DeSalvatore was looking to get the football to down the field. He was the player that was being looked to stretch the Bears' defense. You now lose him as a pass-catching target, and he's at the quarterback position. It's hard to make plays when you take a player that you consider to be one of your bigger playmakers entering week 1 and put him at quarterback.
Right.
Really tough.
That's right, because you lose one of your biggest weapons that's supposed to be spreading the field as well. I believe Tramell Williams was a member of the Bandits last season. Definite motion. Looked like the running back took off before the play, and that's indeed the call. It'll be 3rd down and 19 coming up.
Well, it looked like the Legion were hoping to get an additional blocker out in front of Williams, who it appeared following that snap was going to carry the football, and the back got started early, as you said, and there was no question about that one. And things not going any better for the Legion on this drive in terms of positive plays. All that's gone right is that penalty, and there's really not much else to speak of for them on the offensive side.
You might just run the football here with Tramell Williams. It's really been their only source of offense here on these next 2 plays. And we should mention that there was only one other game on the schedule this week, and that was a part of the XEFL, the Venom against the Cobras. We are looking to get a final score for you in that game, and when we do, we'll relay it over to you. Here, it's 22-0 and a 3rd and 19 for the Legion. They look sideline, and that one is up for grabs and intercepted via the tip drill. And going the other way for 6 points are the Demon Knights as David Fisher does it again. That's his 2nd returned pick 6 this season. And the Empire State Demon Knights have officially broken it open if it wasn't already. It's 28-0.
We've talked about opportunistic defenses so far this year. In other games we've covered, typically in the games that we've seen so far this year, these 2 teams have found themselves on the other side of those plays. We saw both of these teams face the Bears. The Bears were able to capitalize by generating turnovers on defense. The Demon Knights, of course, forced several turnovers against the Bandits, and they do it again here tonight against the Legion. Tip drill, as you said, Dave, pick 6. We got a great look at it from in close. That play took place about maybe 20 feet in front of us as we were positioned at the 50-yard line right behind the Demon Knights bench. Fisher took it the rest of the way for the touchdown. Nobody between him and the end zone. And the Demon Knights now with a very sizable lead. 4-score game. This one out of reach now. If you're the Legion, you're just looking to make the most out of these final minutes if you're New York. But the Demon Knights doing what they expected to do coming into tonight's game, and now they've put themselves in a position where if they face this New York team in the playoffs with one more win now in their last 2 games, they can secure home field in a matchup with the Legion later down the line. And if you're New York, you have stuff to figure out because you're likely going to see this team again. In fact, you are certainly going to see this team again in the playoffs with Empire State picking up the win tonight.
Right. There is the pitch out now. Actually, no, it was the keeper to Caballero, who was taking it himself the entire way, but Thomas Roth is there to make the play. And the 2-point conversion fails for the Demon Knights, and the score will remain 28-0. And what I was going to assume was probably the last play of the 3rd quarter, but perhaps not.
Well, we've seen situations where either for reasons caused by the weather, other rentals, score, etc., games come to a very abrupt end.
Right.
And that's not going to happen right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see one more drive from the Legion perhaps, and then things are sped up a bit.
I think they are switching sides, Joe. I think they are switching sides here.
You're right.
And so that is the end of the 3rd quarter, and we will get ready for the final 15 minutes or so of quarter number 4, with this game pretty much well in hand here for the Demon Knights. And just like Joe mentioned, barring the Legion winning their final 2 games and the Demon Knights losing their final 2 games, the Demon Knights would be sitting in second place in the EFA final standings, provided they can win at least one of their final 2 games or the Legion drop a game at some point in their final 2 games against either the Venom or the Bandits. But these 2 teams seemingly locked into the 2-3 positions no matter what. What that means, Joe, at least for us on PDF, is there's a good chance we'll be back here in early November for the playoff rematch between these 2 teams. And that is a bomb of a kickoff that is fielded by Smallwood. He has to reverse near his 5-yard line, gets ahead of steam, a block, and somersaults to about the 30-yard line, a little bit past it.
And that was some kick.
Yep.
But going back to your point about this matchup later in the season, you've seen it on your screen all night. You can see it in terms of numbers on the sideline for the Legion. You have to think that the weather certainly impacted their numbers this evening.
Yeah.
We're at a playoff game. Perhaps they may have a few more players over on that sideline. And you have to, again, wonder, what does that mean for a potential playoff matchup between these 2 teams? Could we see a different-looking Legion team come that game? Is there an opportunity for the Demon Knights to add any more players? I don't believe so, as they would have to play 4 games. So nobody who hasn't played yet would be eligible for a playoff matchup. So I think we've seen what to expect from the Demon Knights in terms of their roster.
And from what we were told, Joe, not that the quarterback makes the only difference on a team, but Michael Paradise was the quarterback of record coming into this game for the Legion, of course, taking over for David DeSalvatore, who got hurt on the opening night of the season for the Legion, that is. They opened up in week 2. But he was lost for the season. Paradise was the quarterback, but today it's been Tremel Williams. And, this is something that the Legion suffered with last year as well. I believe they had 5 different players play quarterback last year. And, Joe, like going back to your point earlier, they only play an 8-game season. So when you have 5 different players playing quarterback over an 8-game season, chances are things have not gone well for your team. And if these 2 teams should lock up from a playoff game, that's a little bit of a mystery as who's going to play quarterback.
Can you recall a season where a team has ever had more than 2 quarterbacks and the season ended well?
No, it just doesn't happen all that often,
Now, did the 49ers have 3 quarterbacks last year?
They started with Garoppolo. Right?
Yeah, they did. They had Garoppolo. Lance played early in the season. Lance got hurt. Garoppolo came in. He got hurt.
Right.
And then Brock Purdy took them to the NFC Championship.
Right, so
that has to be the best outcome I can recall in memory, but it is recency bias.
Williams reverses to the inside. He fumbles the ball. A great strip by the Demon Knights. We'll see who came down with it. It will remain with the Legion. That was a heck of a play by number 16 of the Demon Knights to strip that ball. We don't have his name on our roster, but making a good play to strip that ball. And now Williams is getting up slowly, as I believe he got kind of rolled into his back, or the back of his legs got rolled onto as that ball came out. The end of all of this is going to be a 1st and 10 for the Legion at the 45-yard line, but right now, all eyes are on Tremel Williams, as Coach George will come out onto the field to tend to his fallen player.
We certainly hope that Williams is okay. We've seen already one too many injuries for this Legion team so far this year. David DeSalvatore coming back after an injury last year and took a huge hit in that game against the Bears, was injured and out for the season once again.
Up under his own power, so that is a good sign here for the Legion. Joe, we haven't mentioned it a lot, but we probably should as we're coming down to the end of this game. But next week, you will be here along with Nick Bavona to cover the Demon Knights in their rematch against the New York Bears, a game that we covered earlier in the season. Myself and Andrew Rotundo will be in New Jersey covering Rockets Hockey Club NCDC hockey. So we'll be on hockey on Flow Hockey or Hockey TV. You will be on PDF Sports Network. And what do you have to look forward to here with a different Demon Knights team than what we saw on opening night?
Well, I think the Demon Knights have shown us a lot of what we have to look forward to tonight. Defensively, they've done exactly what they expected to. They've shut down this Legion offense so far. We'll see if New York can get something going on this drive late in this game. But defensively, you have to like what you've seen.
The give is underneath as Marcus McCray Adams is now playing quarterback. The give was to Kerzavis Bing, who went forward for maybe a half a yard, if that. No, they'll call it no gain. 2nd and 10.
And going back to my point from before, we've seen a lot to like from the Demon Knights tonight defensively. I think the big question heading into their matchup with the Bears next week is, can they sustain consistent offense for 4 quarters? Mm-hmm. We've seen they can score on that Bears defense. Those two teams met here last season. That game was a very competitive game for much of it. And then in the second half, the wheels just fell off offensively for the Demon Knights. They were leading 12-8 at halftime, and then they didn't score again. The defense, if I recall, allowed 20 in that game, maybe 22. I think it was 22-12, the final score. But they need a consistent 4-quarter effort on offense. The defense has shown up.
The throw deep down the field, and Smallwood was the closest Legion player there. He had an opportunity. Pass was thrown by Adams down the field, who did have some time, but it will be a 3rd down and 10 coming up.
And this is the second time we've seen him at quarterback this season. Now Williams is headed back onto the field. And you have to wonder if perhaps they just let him finish the game at quarterback and allow Williams to play some wide receiver.
Yeah.
That last ball was not a bad-looking ball at all. And I think it comes down to something you've mentioned several times already. If they can give their signal caller time to make a throw and make at least 2 reads on a play, perhaps their fortunes could change in the passing game.
It will be Adams staying in. Tramell Williams lining up in the slot on the far side. Long play count here for Adams. Some blocking assignments being handed out. They go down the far sideline, and that one's incomplete, not on the same page with the receiver there. Gooding was the only guy close for the Legion. It'll be 4th and 10, and the Legion down to their final play of this drive if they cannot convert.
Well, I can't say he doesn't have the arm to get the ball down the field. Overshot Gooding by a wide margin on that play, but I think that was the result of a miscommunication.
Now the wind is officially picking up a little bit here at Granny Road. The rain coming down really from left to right at this point. It's gotten a lot colder.
A lot colder.
Joe and I are trying to do our best to keep warm and keep our teeth from chattering. I know my knees are starting to chatter over here on this cold bleacher that we're on. 4th down and 10. And
they're in punt formation.
Yeah, I was going to say back very deep was Adams. Now he comes up about 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. I believe they're going for this one.
Absolutely.
Demon Knights looking like they're going to blitz, and yes, they are. And bottled up and taken down. Ball came out, but in the grasp was Adams. 8-yard sack. Demon Knights will take over on downs.
And that should do it for the Legion in this game. Any late hope they had, trailing by 4 scores, evaporates with that. And Dave?
Is it? I don't know. Have they lifted that ball up in the sky, and are they lining it up? I don't think so. I don't hear any whistles. But you know what? I think the entire Legion team went out, I think, to shake hands, Joe.
They did.
They sure did.
They sure did.
But this game is not over. The ball's at the 45, and I'm not sure why. That was a sack on that last play. Unless they there's no way that was an incomplete pass. So I think the Demon Knights have been cheated out of about 8 yards of real estate here. And instead of the sack on 4th down.
Well, I said it before, Dave.
No one protesting. So
I thought that drive might be the last time we see the Legion possess the football.
Mm-hmm.
And they thought that drive was the last time they were going to possess the football.
Either way, Demon Knights take over. They're at their own 45-yard line. Caballero is going to throw the ball, and it's intercepted. Intercepted that time by Sam Tariq. Nowhere really for him to go, although he went opposite field. And, Joe, we're both wrong. The Legion will possess it one more time. They get the ball at their own 41 because, for some reason, the Demon Knights putting the ball up. And I think the Legion taking exception to that as bodies now have to get unfurled and peeled off of one another.
Well, in our defense, the Legion did not think they were getting the ball again.
Right.
So they'll sort this out as players are separated. But both sides now beginning to head back to their respective benches. The players who are still on the benches being told to stay put.
Yeah, cooler heads are prevailing, and everybody's getting back to their respective huddles. But, you know, you kind of understand that, Joe. And listen, we've said this so many times. We almost hate hearing ourselves talk about it again and again. But late in games, we have seen teams air it out, go for more points when simply taking a knee or, we're still early in the fourth quarter. You think you just run the football 4 times, let the clock run out. We're out of here. Everybody's the better for it. But the Empire State Demon Knights electing to air it out, and Legion taking exception. They do get the turnover out of it, and there's just antagonizing going on back and forth. And, the argument, Joe, is that, these guys, they don't get paid $1 million to play. They most oftentimes they're paying to play football. And sometimes late in these games are when certain guys who don't get a lot of time to play are coming in the game and they want to make a play, and everybody wants to score at any given time. And so you have that as well. But still, it's a weird situation and something that we definitely are not used to on PDF Sports Network. And we've almost started to make fun of it a little bit, Joe, by late in games saying, what do you think, Joe? Victory formation? And now we get a little bit of a kick out of it. But, these are some of the things that happen late in these games when that doesn't happen. And it looked like at the end of all of this, a 15-yard penalty has been assessed to the Empire State Demon Knights. And the Legion will have the ball 1st and 10 at the Demon Knights' 45-yard line.
Well, given the fact that the Legion were heading out to midfield to shake hands, I thought they might end the game following that turnover, give the Demon Knights a chance for fourth quarter possession, and then end it. And for any reason, the officials can decide to speed up the clock or decide to end the game. But tonight, if there was ever a night to pull the plug with the weather, you would think this could be that night. And instead, the Legion will get it back. So another chance for this New York offense. They trail by 4 scores, chance to get on the board for the first time.
McCray Adams will remain in at quarterback. Tremel Williams is lined up here on the near side, just on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. And we have a timeout called by the Empire State Demon Knights.
They had too many men on the field. That was the problem. So they'll call the timeout to avoid the penalty. And they'll huddle up, as will the Legion.
So once again, next week, PDF Sports Network will be right here at Granny Road to see the undefeated New York Bears at 6-0 take on this Empire State Demon Knights team, which will improve to 4-2 this season.
Well, that matchup is one that we know the Demon Knights have been looking forward to. And the Bears now closing in on a perfect season, or at least perfect regular season. They want that victory just as badly as Empire State does. A win for the Demon Knights in the game next week would be a huge statement to the rest of the EFA and the XEFL as well, because the XEFL champion will meet the eventual EFA champion. But the Demon Knights would love to pull off the upset against the Bears, and next weekend is their final shot at New York during this regular season. That being said, in addition to pulling off the upset and making a statement, they need to win one of their final 2 games to guarantee themselves home field advantage come the playoffs. The Legion have 2 games left, one of those games against the team they've already beaten in the Bandits. So the Legion very well could still leapfrog Empire State and secure a home game in the opening round of the playoffs. Next game for the Demon Knights is big for more than just the simple fact that they'd like to pull off the upset against the Bears and score a win against an unbeaten New York team.
So after all of that and after the timeout, 1st and 10, Adams wants to run the screen, but that pass is incomplete. No one really close there. Gooding was the only one in the area. Now, Joe, there's still a possibility that the Demon Knights can end up in a tie for first place with the Bears, but I believe that the Bears own the tiebreaker because let's just say both of these teams finish 4-2. Let's say the Demon Knights win next week. The Bears lose their final game against the Venom. I believe the next tiebreaker would be how they fared against the Cobras, because they would be the only other team in which they've faced, in the past. Now, the Bears went 2-0 against the Cobras, and the Demon Knights, at best, will go 1-1 against them, because obviously if they want to finish tied for first, they have to win that game on the final game of the season. Now, we don't know all the tiebreaker breaking rules and how that's going to work out, but that might still be in play for the Demon Knights as well. Although the Bears will have a lot to say about that, that's for sure, next week. McCray Adams, not a lot of time, tucks it down and goes forward for about a gain of 1 or 2, making something out of nothing and flashing a bit of speed before Salmaron was able to take him down.
Well, these Legion quarterbacks haven't had much time to survey the field when they've looked to pass, and it's necessary back there, at least on this night, that those quarterbacks be ready to move and escape the pocket. Now, with Williams behind center, or typically, I should say, quarterback, he hasn't operated much, if at all, from under center, but with Williams at the quarterback position, they've designed quite a few rollouts for him where they look to move the pocket and give him an opportunity to throw on the move quickly. But with Adams back there, they've operated out of a more traditional shotgun look where he takes the snap and begins to survey the field, making his reads.
3rd and 8 coming up here for the Legion. Again, all-out blitz here for the Demon Knights, and that one is shoveled and incomplete. Now, I believe they were trying to shovel that over to Carzavis Bing, as once again players have to separate. It'll be 4th down and 8 when we come back. A decent job by Adams to recognize that Bing was in the area, at least. Get rid of that.
He fooled me, Dave, because I was following what I thought was a sack, and he got that football out in time.
Now, we've heard of the term zero blitz before, and that was it right there for the Demon Knights. Just everybody in single coverage, and the rest are coming home to Adams. And Adams felt it immediately. No chance on that play. 4th down and 8 coming up. And what, again, could be the final opportunity for the Legion to hang their hat on something positive tonight, at least offensively.
And I think if the Legion do ultimately meet this Empire State team in the playoffs again, which it appears is the likely outcome, they need to figure out how to get the offense going with some more traditional play calls. We've seen a lot of quarterback runs that have given them some success, but the traditional handoff, the traditional drop back, the traditional shotgun pass just hasn't been there. They've tried a lot of short screens. Some of those have been misfired. A screen accounts for their only completion, but they need to figure out a way to generate some positive plays because their defense, if they are able to get 6 points, 12 points from their offense, could give them a chance to win.
Right. And that pass is thrown near the sideline, but not on the same page again. Adams was looking in the direction of Williams as we have another Legion player down. Legion have turned the ball over on downs, and we have an official timeout on the field of play. And, getting back to the defense, remember, Joe, they've only given up 3 scores in this game. The 4th Demon Knights score came on a pick 6. And they only gave up 1 offensive touchdown against the Bears a couple weeks ago.
And don't forget about the impact of where those Demon Knights drives started tonight. A couple of those started from right in front of the end zone. You spoke about it at the end of the first half. The Demon Knights took over deep in New York territory more than once, and that certainly plays a role. The Legion defense in this game has not played poorly. They've given their offense a chance, but I said it during the pregame. The key tonight for New York was going to be to give that defense a breather, generate some possessions where you pick up 2, 3 first downs. And even if you don't score on those possessions, it gives your defense a chance to rest, relax on that sideline, try and adjust to what they've seen so far in the game, and potentially create a game-changing play for you that gives your offense the opportunity to score some points. But the defense, as they were in week 1, or I should say week 2, haven't been given that opportunity on the sideline to take a breather. They've been right back out there, and that's even more impactful when you have players that are playing on both sides of the ball.
Right.
The Legion have that tonight, as I don't believe they have a 22-man roster this evening, and players have been bitten by the injury bug once again, a player being helped off the field for New York, and you hate to see that, as time and time again we've seen players go down with injury for this Legion team as well, and on a night like this, that's something they can't afford.
Now, the last time the Empire State Demon Knights got the ball, they committed their 2nd turnover of the game. And it was an interception that set the Legion right back up in decent field position, unable to do anything with it. But you wonder if the Demon Knights will go back to really what has been working for them all game long, which has been this running game. And the give is right up the middle. And 2nd and 3rd efforts will give them a 5-yard gain here on 1st down. I think Johnson might have been the ball carrier. No, that was Grice, the ball carrier on that last play.
Good hard run with a little help from his friends on that carry. The pile pushed him forward even after the whistles had blown the play dead.
Gain of 5, 2nd down and 5 coming up. Thank you for joining us here on the PDF Sports Network, home of the EFA and the ex-EFL partnership, the home stretch of our season. 3 more weeks to go before a playoff start. The give is the opposite way. That is Johnson this time, and he is bottled up. No gain. Maybe that 2nd effort might have given him a yard. Another nice play there by the interior of the Legion defense. Sergio Mencia, the first one there for the Legion. And it'll be 3rd down and about 4 coming up.
Well, you have to love the effort from these Empire State running backs late in the game that has already been decided. Cold night, rainy night. Both teams now
It's a holding call.
Frustrations boil over as we do have a penalty that will back up that run, but that doesn't take away from how hard ball carriers have run for the Demon Knights this evening, and we saw it on that last carry even though the gain was negated.
2nd down and 14 after the 10-yard penalty. About 20 players in the box here on this one. The give is up the middle and going nowhere fast were the Demon Knights. That play blown straight up in the backfield. Grice had nowhere to go that time. Ronald Morris, the first one in on the stop. And it'll be a huge 3rd down here for the Demon Knights. They'll have to go about 18 yards, 19 yards on this next play.
2-minute warning.
Yep, 2 minutes.
Now, you brought up the point before, Dave. If you're the Demon Knights, you're up big. They look to pass on that last drive. Now, you come out on this drive and you're handing the ball off, but you're opening up your running backs to big hits behind the line of scrimmage, hits from defensive linemen and linebackers. You see plays like that are blown up in the backfield where your back takes a big hit. It really makes you reconsider whether or not you want to run the football, and the defense knows that's what you're looking to do.
Maybe not this time as they do go in the air. It is the bubble screen on the opposite end, and it gets a huge chunk back here for the Demon Knights. It'll be 4th and about 4 or 5. Nice job down on that side of the field. I believe that was Spencer on the catch, 0-0. And it will be a 4th down and 5 coming up. Demon Knights huddling up and seemingly will go for it here. Although we have seen Caballero just from his same area in shotgun formation punt the ball. One of the best EFA punters in the game.
He really does it all. Linebacker, quarterback, kickoff specialist, punter. And he's lining up to kick right now. At least it looks that way.
I don't think so. At least the
You're right. He was not.
Receivers are not.
He was way
really
back.
set.
Had me fooled.
And he will indeed go back to pass. Takes a big step drop. Middle of the field, and that one is nearly picked off. Nice job by Adams to get in front of that one and disrupt the play. Better off letting that fall to the ground, because if he would have made the catch, he would have yielded about 20 to 25 yards. We know there are certainly under 2 minutes remaining, so you have to figure these are the final set of downs in this one. The New York Legion down 28-0. Seemingly will fall in this game, but looking to perhaps string together a couple of good plays to end this game for the Demon Knights. They'll improve to 4-2 on the season. They now have sole possession of second place. The only way they yield that is if they lose their final 2 games and the Legion win their final 2 games.
And Dave, there's certainly a chance the Legion could win their last 2 games. We spoke about it already. So last 2 weeks for Empire State versus Bears and versus Cobras. Those games, or at least one of those games, will matter.
Right.
If they beat the Bears and pull off the upset, then the game against the Cobras in terms of playoff positioning will not matter. If the Bears stay perfect and pick up the win, that game against the Cobras becomes a big game for this Demon Knights team. And I think it's a fair question. How much do you value a home playoff game?
Right.
In a situation like this, with the rainfall and the cold weather, maybe about 15 or 20 spectators max.
Mm-hmm.
But the traveling certainly has an impact on numbers for
Right.
the visiting team in a playoff situation. And the Legion, should they end up facing the Demon Knights in an opening round playoff game here at Granny Road, will hope to have a much more robust roster on that night. That matchup would take place on November, or I should say, is it November 4th?
November 11th and 18th are the
11th
EFA.
and 18th, right. 11th and
November
18th
4th is a
the
makeup week. Yep.
Got it.
And one of the games that will be made up is Legion and Bandits. Tremel Williams is back in at quarterback, and he is running for his life. He dumps it off in the flat. Catch is made by McLaughlin, who advances up a few yards to about the 43-yard line of the Demon Knights. Gain of 4 officially. 2nd and 6.
I couldn't tell if he was shaken up or if he was trying to roll over into the push-up position. He's doing some knuckle push-ups over on the sideline. But it looked like initially he may have been shaken up, and that is the last thing you want to see in any game, but especially if you're the Legion tonight. Players have gone down already this evening for New York, and they just like to get out of here as healthy as possible, and that'll do it.
And that's as healthy as they're going to get. This one has gone final. The Empire State Demon Knights took a 16-0 lead into intermission. They add 2 more touchdowns in the second half, one by way of their defense. And our final score for you here is the Empire State Demon Knights 28 and the New York Legion 0. Want to remind you that next week we will be back here at Granny Road Park. The Empire State Demon Knights, who are now 4-2, will be hosting the 6-0 New York Bears. And we will have that for you right here on PDF Sports Network. We believe that will be a 7 p.m. start time like this game was slated to start at. But, of course, we will get you that time during midweek. Joe, before we end this one, final thoughts on this one.
Well, I think if you're the Demon Knights, you have to be thrilled with the way your defense played, and then the offense, specifically the running game, fantastic tonight. They didn't need much from the passing game this evening, but when it was called upon, it delivered. A huge fourth down conversion is what really helped the offense get going early in this game, but the turnovers they forced early on put the Legion in a position where the defense of Empire State had asserted itself, and New York received the message. It's going to be a tough night for you on offense, and it's going to be very difficult to move the football. The weather compounded those difficulties. The Legion never really found their footing on the offensive side. The Demon Knights defense made sure of that. The running game for Empire State was great, and if you're the Demon Knights, I don't think you can be much happier with the way you played tonight heading into a matchup with the Bears. Everything really clicked. I think against New York, they're going to need a bit more from the passing game than they got tonight. But tonight, they certainly didn't need any more than they got from the passing game. They got just enough. The running game, fantastic. They need that running game to be there next week as well. They really need to click in all aspects of the game to have a shot against the Bears, a Bears team that looks to stay unbeaten. The Demon Knights get one final opportunity to change that here on PDF next weekend.
Well, the Demon Knights have not yielded a point on their home field. They hope that will carry over into next week's game. Joe Foreman, Nick Bavona will be here next week. Be sure to tune in here on your home for the EFA. It's the PDF Sports Network. We wish you a very great evening and very great rest of the week before we meet you back here once again at PDF Sports Network. Once again, your final score from Granny Road. The Empire State Demon Knights 28 and the New York Legion nothing. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Good night.